Work in progress.
Okay, I would like to call to order, excuse me, the July 11th, 2023 meeting of the Aubrey Municipal Development District meeting at 6:03 p.m. Take attendance, Jesse Adler is present, Vicki Dunn is present, Jack Hopper is present, Carolyn Cashin is present, Mark Abernowski is present, Johnny Bergeron is present, as is Holly Drew. Can you do the invitation to the mission?
Father, we just thank you for your day, for the wisdom. We thank you for the rain that we've had and the cooler temperatures, but most of all, we thank you for living in this great nation, United States of America, and the great state of Texas. We thank you for the obligations and for the abilities that we have and the wisdom that you guide us. And we thank you that you give us discretion and wisdom in all that we do in this meeting. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. And I wanted Carolyn to see we hung she brought us that flag.
Nice.
It got us. So if you want to start education foundation.
You get that out of my garage?
I must have heard that education. I've been on a lot of stuff.
Community announcements, items of community interest may include recognizing citizen staff for outstanding contributions to the community. A reminder about an upcoming event that is organized or sponsored by the governing body, and announcements of imminent threat to public safety that has arisen after posting of the agenda. I know we've got music in the park
This Saturday.
this Saturday.
Yeah, Harrelson and Aiden's gadget.
I love that name.
And
Shrinking a little bit so we can
I can see there.
go in the corner here. Oh, anyone else participating?
I don't see that, so citizen input. Don't see any members of the general public, is everyone else here comfortable waiting and talking about their individual items? Okay, then we will move on from citizen input to consent items. Items placed on the consent agenda are considered routine in nature and non-controversial. The consent agenda can be acted upon in one motion. Items may be removed from the consent agenda by the request of board members or staff. Consideration and action the following. Minutes of the board director meeting from June 13, 2023. The staff report for June 2023 and the monthly financial report from June 2023.
Did everyone have a chance to see the financials?
Yeah, I'm just curious. I was looking, last month, there was no legal and no legal this month. I mean, how are we paying for the legal services? And they're not. And they're
It
showing up the last
could-
couple of months. I was kind of curious how that was being handled.
We are paying for it.
Sure
I
we are.
gave the invoice to Mike for the last one toward the end of June, so it may not have posted. And then like after our meeting, so it may not have posted on our account by the time he ran the financials, but we have been paying it. And I gave him a bill this week for the,
And we're done with the GPS stuff now, right?
I believe we
Yes.
paid the final invoice on that, is that right?
we paid the final invoice. Also, at the same time, I think we paid the lawyer invoice. Yeah, Brett Power. And so it should, if they hadn't posted on our account yet, that's why they wouldn't be showing up.
It's like $104 on it. I know we spent only $104.
Oh, 104. Yeah, we are.
I was curious why they wouldn't leave it last couple of
Okay.
months. And curious. Not curious, it's kind of carried over to what we're gonna talk later.
Did I see right that they moved that on 405?
Yeah. Yes, I asked him to take that out, and this is the corrected version that is in your agenda. It was just a mistake. Line item.
City expenses miscoded to us. We saw it earlier, and it's correctly, that's not. So do you understand what we're talking about?
It's the fast signs, just so everybody knows that correction was the 405 to fast signs. For the logo, and it was just because the person using I was using someone's P card till I got mine, and she was probably crediting my bills. And accidentally kept our 701 in the front.
Comments originally on the minutes, these are the ones you.
Yeah, they were pulled through.
Oh, right, we corrected those.
Anybody, anything else on minutes or financial? Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we did. Was there a staff report?
I did not have one attached. I was gonna just give y'all a couple updates. I didn't have a long staff report and didn't get it written before the agenda was posted.
Do you want to go ahead and do that now, since we're
Sure.
talking about it?
Yes, we can do that. So basically in June, after our meeting, I went to the Texas Economic Development Council Conference training, got some good information there. There's some legislative changes coming up in the 88th legislature, and they're going to be having their tax law, tax EDC and all the tax reviews and workshops that we can go to and I'll send that out to the board. It's September 16th, I believe, and 15th. So I'll double check the date, send that out to y'all because I will need to know who wants to attend so that it's in Dallas. And then I can register us and get y'all paid for.
And what's this one about? What is it on?
It's TEDC, the annual tax uses laws. I'm going blank on the name of the session, but it's in my email. So I'll forward that to y'all.
Okay.
And then we had one business close, the food experience closed. And so I'm working, just getting some information on that building and like what might be available in terms of, if it's going to be for sale or lease, or so we can try to get maybe.
Was it owned by the people that did food?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. So I have emailed them to find out more information about the building so that
I just knew it was wrote up the other day.
Yeah. Yeah.
She had problems with getting employees,
yeah.
getting good employees. She said she had plenty of business and could not get employees to.
Yeah, that's what her reply said, that when I emailed about finding information out about the building, her email did say it was a employment issue, workforce labor issue. So we also, I've been working on, I'll have updates for y'all later in the agenda too, but mostly I've been working on, in June was spent doing budget item estimates and going to TEDC and then working on just keeping up with the businesses and the development reports. I'll get that to y'all as well for June. And I think I had also taken a week, I had a week off in June. So most of it y'all know from the last June meeting and all the stuff we covered. So I apologize that I did not have it in writing for you.
Then I make a motion that we approve the consent agendas as written.
Second. Motion from Vicky, a second from Shawnee, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0. New business, items created or requested by board members, city staff, or citizens for consideration by the board. Consideration and action regarding the Aubrey Chamber of Commerce 2023-2024 grant application.
We have Jennifer here. And I sent that in y'all's attachments today. I have it pulled up here as well. This is just the sheet of the criteria that we give with the grant. But I'm gonna pull up that actual application here for y'all.
Well, always been on the city of Auburn,
What?
the grant, didn't we have an NDD, wasn't that normally on the NDD?
Yeah, the.
Yeah, I was in the city of Auburn this year and I was just.
Yeah,
I was curious
I
about.
was-
Yeah,
What
that
changed?
was the one we had.
Basically, just everything that goes through us is supposed to be uploaded, basically.
Yeah, I didn't, this is not, I was on here.
Yeah.
I don't know how that got on there because I didn't make the application.
I noticed it too.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
What a big deal.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how that got on there. I don't know who developed this actual document, but that was the one Jana was given. And so that's the one we got. So this is now,
I looked at the last few years and it actually does have that city of Aubrey seal on there. Yeah,
okay,
because I was curious about that too.
Yeah, I just noticed it, I'm not used to seeing the city of Auburn stuff, but.
Is that something we should change going forward?
probably that and a few other things. But so did y'all get a chance to look at it? Do you need me to pull up any? I mean, I've kind of scrolled through it just to have a chance, but I thought we'd let them speak. We basically had the application was reviewed by y'all. I've reviewed your meeting last week. I watched the meeting from September. So there were questions and guidance given to the previous person who applied for the grant, which was Donna Sims. Jennifer was at that meeting. And then as we received this grant that Jana had completed just right after she started working here, we reviewed it and realized there's some information that needed to still be presented from the last discussion y'all had in September, which was about the grant guidelines and what it can be spent on. The motion that was made was about the 505.156 code legal, that you have a piece, but all have papers there too, if y'all can take a look at those. This is the document here that y'all are looking at. Move it over to my. Oh my gosh, this is like being on a roller coaster, looking at trying to figure out where my mouse is going. So here's here, there it is. Okay. Okay, so I'm pulling this over for y'all to see the document in front of you, but basically in that discussion in the last meeting, the attorney given direction, y'all had given direction, the attorney had said that the grant expenditures need to fall within local code. So she shared this document highlighting areas that it can, and y'all have in front of you, that it can be used for the expenditures from that the chamber can use. So given that, Jennifer Bland is here to talk about what the chamber, since that discussion and since these local codes and everything have been reviewed, what is a proper good or what does the chamber have in mind for some expenditures that they can use? So I'll let Jennifer finish if that's okay.
And I don't know if you guys all got to meet Janet, but she's on your executive director too, so just in case you haven't. Thank you for having us this evening and for considering this. And obviously, since I haven't seen you since last year, thank you for the funds for 2023. We greatly appreciate those. And more than anything, I think we just want to be really, really clear on whatever parameters for the grant that we need to meet. You know, we want you all to know that we're willing to do whatever the need be. So whatever the attorney finds that we need to, you know, we need to set the funds into a separate checking account and show you guys, I know, but however we need to report back to you guys, we're willing to do all of those things. So that being said, I just kind of wanted to update you guys on where we are. This year is the chamber, what's been going on, what we've reserved funds for that you've already given us and what we're looking forward to doing next year. So anyways, our fiscal year runs January through December, so we're a little off. We just run calendar year from you guys. So I wanted to let you know that way it'll kind of make sense. Since we met last time, our former director, Donna Sims retired. So that kind of wrapped up the year for us and began the first quarter of the new year for us with a new position job search. So really it was kind of the directors were all hands on deck on revamping the position, what we could budget for, what we could afford for a candidate, and then going out, opening up the job search and interviewing and that sort of thing. So the first 3 months of the chamber, we were not out doing a whole lot. There were not a lot of events. In fact, we canceled our spring fundraiser just because we wanted to have a director in place and really restructure what we were doing before we made any big moves. Other than our luncheon, we continue to have those with our trainings and those sort of things. The month-to-month things we continued. But we luckily found Jana, who was an amazing fill-in for what Donna had created and what we wanted to kind of shift and go in the direction with the chamber with too. So Jana started with us in April. And thus began, what should the chamber look like going forward? And I think we've done in the very few months that we've had Jana, I think we've made pretty big waves on what the board of directors sees the future as the chamber looking like. And bringing in somebody like Jana, who really has a heart for the community and helping these businesses build themselves up, survive when business is slow, and how to really do what our core job is, which is to provide opportunities for businesses to network, to build relationships with each other, and then be the best marketers of each other. The chamber really should be the place that if somebody needs a roofer, they should contact us and say, who do you recommend? And if we're not working on those relationships, it's really easy to just throw out a name of someone who may not be a chamber member. We don't want our members doing that. We want them always referring back companies that are members of the chamber because they built those relationships. So it's kind of what we've started off the year April forward through. So we created 2 monthly mixers from April through May. March through May. We did 2 a month. And we just had them at local restaurants. Fortunata did one for us. Upper Park has done one. Prairie House, and it just gave people an opportunity that was not a noon Wednesday meeting, another time frame for people to be able to come. So we would do like a happy hour 4 to 6. We've had a great turnout in those, and it's really helped open up marketing for other businesses too. That's outside of just Prairie House at noon on Wednesday once a month. So that's been nice too, that we've gotten to see new faces brought in and really get this business to market those too. So we ramped up the spring doing that. We had another unexpected curveball thrown at us at the time when Donna stepped down and we were kind of running everything. And that was that the business that ran our website was no longer going to run websites or provide emails. So that was a whole transfer and a whole expenditure that we had no clue was coming. So we revamped the website. We're still in the process of that. We're close. Jana has training tomorrow on actually how to run that and be able to add logos, move things around and that sort of thing. But we at least have a framework, and it actually is more user-friendly and mobile device friendly. So that's a bonus of having to be forced to come up with a new website. It kind of brought us current on technology. So that was nice. With that being said, so we received your first funding on December 2nd of 1875, and then the second on March 7th of 2500. And we just kind of put those things to the side because at that point we were still bringing Jana in, hadn't really spent any money on anything other than our utilities and monthly fees. Once we brought Jana in, then we kind of ramped up the marketing side of where we needed to be. So I wanted to update you all too on what we're doing with our luncheons. We are no longer holding every one of those at Prairie House every month. And as far as I know, as far back as we can see from the inception, that's where they've been. I mean, as long as I've been in Aubrey, the things that happened, they've been very awesome. So we wanted to, again, support other businesses, get sales into other doors, get traffic into other areas. So that was one of the first things that Jan started working on. So she is at this point doing a rotating location, which also will keep people paying attention to our emails and what's happening and force them to kind of tune into what the chamber's doing. So they show up at the right place once a month. And that also opens up the opportunity where we may not be doing a venue that serves food, but we can also cater in. So then we're actually helping 2 members per luncheon. Not all of them will be that way. Some will be, if we can find a restaurant that can seat 50 plus and is willing to make room for us, that's great. But our first was at Open ID, which was an event venue, out on 428. And great reception. We had at least 45 attendees, which was a higher number for us lately. So that was really nice. And we catered in. So that's the plan going forward. This month is going to be at the Aubrey Area Library. And we're going to be using Upper Park for part of the food and raising canes. And so it really just gives us the opportunity to spread the marketing, get people into locations. So many people didn't even realize Open ID was out there. That's what we want. That's what we exist for, is to open up business opportunities for our members. So I feel like we're headed in a right track on those. The one thing that we have spent at this point, and it just recently happened, was we used $1,500 out of the funds to secure the location at Paul Redfern's gym for our September Chamber of Commerce casino night. We're bringing that back. We haven't had it since like 2019, prior to COVID. That location is in the Aubrey ETJ. That was one thing that we wanted to be absolutely adamant about, that we're following, the location within the city limits in the ETJ. Other than that, we did receive the final payment, thank you, on 6/20 for the $5,625. So that all is still in our budget as reserves. What we want to make sure 100%, especially leaving this meeting with you all, is that we know any other parameters, especially that the attorney has, before we touch any funds to spend those out. We would like to be able to use the funds with two different things that we would like to question. A, if utilities and running, the things that we have to pay out monthly for the building, since we're using the building location, that's something that is subject to the parameters. If not, is it with our events, spreading business, for example, for our casino night, we're going to do, we're stealing an idea that the Education Foundation did years ago, where they had a wine glass and they had a diamond in the bottom of it. You buy the wine glass and you might wind up with the diamond. We're stealing that idea, so there'll be a prize in the wine glass. Are we able to take those funds to the Dollar Tree in Aubrey and buy the wine glasses? So those are the kind of things that we want to make sure that we have guidance on. Are those acceptable? Or do we need to, our fall plans is to have more mini events, something like a business showcase. We would like to start something called Coffee and Connections and actually have people in the building and be able to meet with the chamber, on a Thursday morning and have coffee or those sort of things. So we want to make sure that if we're using the funds, that it's something that follows the parameters of what the attorney is comfortable with. But that's closing out the year. Those are our biggest plans. We have the casino night in September, which will be a large cost to us. And then the other part of it is making sure with the changes with the luncheons and the venues, some of those venues charge. So if it's an Aubrey venue, are we allowed to use the funds for that? Is it something that we could use for the food? Those sort of things. So those are the questions we really have. And then going forward for next year, Jana is a wealth of plans, but she's got some really cool event ideas. We would like to do as many, I call them like showcase events where we can bring businesses to one location, like the park, or Christine just told us that the building out here might be going away. So even in, just this grassy or whatever the size may be, but a place that we can get different vendors, different businesses from the area set up down here. Like my theory would be like a back to school shopping extravaganza would be like one of the things of them, perhaps, where you've got Aubrey residents coming downtown, buying things from Aubrey businesses that they're going to use in Aubrey ISD and setting those sort of things up. But those type of themed pop-up things. So we're going to be adding several of those because it just gets the businesses out there and lets people see them. We have a really cool idea for a horse country rodeo event. So just things that start getting people into properties of our members so that they're actually in their business scavenger hunts. We're going to start those. We probably will have one in the fall, but we'll be actually gathering up a group of people and sending them with clues into businesses. So they're actually going in, and meeting with the people behind the counter and having conversations and striking up relationships. So those sort of things added to what we already do with casino night. And we will be bringing our clay event that is outside of Aubrey though. So no funds will be used for that, but just building on what our core main events per month are, which would be our lunches and our mixers. And then really the third prong of that is expanding our educational side to our businesses. So every month at our luncheon, we have some type of lunch and learn topic. We bring in a speaker that has some type of business value added for the businesses in the room here. We've had business tax law adjustments this year. I've got a list I can give you guys of everything that we've had topic wise this year. But expanding that and having an event also outside of the luncheon, either here in the office, depending on the size of attendees, or at the library, where people are getting trainings, social media for your business. We've got so many members that are a wealth of information. One of our board members owns a marketing company, and so she spoke very shortly at the last meeting. But just what works and what doesn't for marketing right now in this climate. Things that we can teach our members that they're not going to have to go out and find on their own or send them to find. So that's the third prong, and that is really building up our educational piece. And my hope with that is that as we're doing that, we can strengthen, where to point people for more information, for grants, that sort of thing. But that's our core idea of what we're growing into. Obviously with budget constraints, we're trying to be very smart about that, but we want to be very, very respectful of the funding. And also build a relationship, with Christine here and Janet in the building. If there are events we can partner with, whatever we can do to grow and strengthen the businesses in the area is our goal. And so with that, we just want to make sure we're being respectful of everything you're asking from us. Thank you for the beautiful building that we're really excited to have people in to now as well. And one other kind of sidebar consideration to this whole conversation for your board. I don't know history, and that Jan and I were having this conversation. I do not know why, which leads me to one more big thing that we're doing as a board, changing membership levels. I do not know why the MDD logo has not been placed on. We have a banner that we take to luncheons that has like the platinum members on it. You guys have given us more than that platinum level. I don't know if that was a separation of powers for some reason that it wasn't on there, or if it was just something that someone dropped the ball on our end. I don't know, but that's something that is legal to talk to the attorney about, of how we can also, give thanks back publicly for everything that you guys have done to support the chamber. We would like to be able to do that on the website as well. So that's something that's in our legal framework.
Alicia, I sure hope that you heard all that.
I did. I have
Okay,
notes.
good. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good thing you were by this little speaker here, because that makes it a lot easier. Good choice.
You've done a great job. I was starting to grow this thing. I mean, I've seen a lot of growth in what the chamber's done. And you guys are doing. I think as far as we talked about that at the last meeting, I think when it came up before about the advertising logo stuff, and as a way to actually meet the criteria, I think we talked about, we could actually buy advertising from the Chamber of Commerce. I think that was a conversation that was had, and I remember that correctly. So I think there's plenty of ways around where we need to make that.
Well, and one of the thought processes, we're keeping most of our levels names the same. We have platinum is our highest, that's the $3,000 membership level, but we would like to create something, if it's legal for us to do so, create something like the diamond level and have you guys listed as that. And that would be, even higher than the platinum for people to see and recognize. But I think that's really important. If it's within parameters, we would like to be able to do that.
Alicia, that's something we should discuss in executive.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Uh-oh. You there?
So
Some,
not,
hold on. You just, there
sorry,
you are.
I was muted. Yeah, let's talk about all those in executive session.
Okay.
Okay.
And we have kind of just a few copies. I don't think we're going to have enough, but I've got a few copies, so you guys will have a list too.
Oh, perfect.
Of these stapled is kind of just my rundown of what's happened this year that you just got verbally, and then the businesses 100% that are in the Aubrey city limits that we've added value to this year. And kind of an explanation of how and what. And then the third piece of that is some of the ideas for next year that we haven't really started this year.
All the board members here on your mailing list,
Okay.
on your email.
On the email list.
On the email list?
I get an email, I get all your emails, different events. I just curious if
It
everybody else.
may be because of Hopper Ranch. I don't, Do you get it?
Everybody
Okay.
should be on your, your.
Yeah.
Do you get it,
Your,
Holly?
whatever that.
Okay, because they're new.
Whatever it is. Yeah, you're all done.
I signed up.
Right.
I signed
Well,
up. though.
yeah.
Yeah, and that may be why, maybe because
That's all we're doing.
if you have a list of everybody, so we can get those. out.
Yeah, I'll get
For
that
Sure.
to Karen.
Did you guys get, I'm curious, did you guys get a refund from the website people? Since if they just decided,
No, they gave us
See, so-
notice, gosh, right when I started, really, they started giving us notice.
congratulations. you know,
You have, congratulations, you have 90 days.
Yeah.
time to do your website.
Part, kind of told first, but it was not just, it was across the board, any chamber.
And it may have been noticed that we received a little earlier too, between just having donuts, admin kind of filling in shoes.
I was just curious.
Yeah,
No recall.
the emails, no, that was fun. There was about a 30-day email. from Chamber Master.
That was a mess.
Yes.
Yeah, make sure that everybody on this group gets your email. Yeah.
We'll get those from Christina and make sure we have on this.
I will.
Like, awesome, you are too.
Alicia, we can go at any number of executive sessions, right? We want to do one now for just this. We can reserve executive session later for other items.
You can do that if you'd like, yes.
Otherwise, I mean, to me, that's a waste of your time to have you guys wait
Yeah.
around for
Uh,
the whole night.
yeah,
That way, especially if you have more questions. or-
okay.
So if you guys don't.
So I have
mind,
to
we'll
stop
go ahead and go
recording.
in the executive session, and
Just-
we can discuss it and then get you guys, allow you to go home and.
And enjoy my.
And then have a nice glass of wine or
All the
something. Okay, so I
boys are
gotta.
gone.
stop.
man, peaceful.
Where's my recording? Hold on.
Well, we have to go into executive. session.
Right, but can y'all give me a second to find that button before you, just so I can make sure I got it. I can click it. Where did it go? No, it's up here. It's just this screen is, there we go. Okay, I'm good. I just wanted to have it ready.
Are you gonna put, invite Alicia to a breakout room or?
Darn it. Alicia, I don't have a breakout room set up for you. Do you want to?
Hey, there's nobody else on the Zoom. If you stop recording and people are gone, if you're comfortable, we could just continue this way.
Right. If I pause recording, it should pause it and you can still stay on, right?
Correct. We
Yes.
just have to pay attention. I have the participants up, so if anyone were to log in, I could say,
Oh, I see.
well,
I see what you're saying.
That's probably not.
But don't we have it admit, I think I have it set to where they have to be admitted by me into
Hey,
the,
Alicia, how about I call you?
yeah.
okay, that works.
All right, so,
Figure it out.
okay, do I hear a motion? Vicky sounds agreed to make one.
Do you have to read it first?
Alicia, I have to read the executive session item first before the. other item?
You would need to do the 071 section to discuss the Chamber of Commerce grant and the 087. So you wouldn't need to list everything else unless you want to discuss everything all at one time now and not do two sessions.
No, make them wait forever.
Yeah, all right, executive session in accordance with Texas Government Code, section 551.001. The Auburn Municipal Development District will recess into executive session or closed meetings to discuss the following: section 551.071, consultation with an attorney, section 551.087, economic development negotiations, and section 551.072, real property.
I make a motion that we close open session and go into executive session at 6:37 PM. I'll second.
Motion by Vicky, second by Carolyn, all in favor. Motion carries 7-0. And for what time did you say?
6:37.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Huh?
Okay, I had to take her off mute.
I make a motion that we go back into open session at 6:58 PM.
Motion by Vicky, second by Joni, all in favor.
Keep it about.
Motion is 6-0, Carol Cash had to step out, slightly.
Hmm.
All right. Consideration and action regarding Aubrey's Chamber of Commerce 2023-2024 grant application. I'm not so sure that we're going to do the grant going forward. Christine's going to follow up with you on some additional information. I don't think that's going to be a negative for you guys.
Okay.
But I think as far as the grant, we haven't done a motion yet, but based on the advice attorney, we're probably going to deny your grant application.
Okay.
And we'll address the other opportunity with you through our regular budgetary process a little later in this meeting. Do I hear a motion?
Who wants to make that?
I'll make a motion that we deny the Aubrey Chamber of Commerce grant application for the 2023-2024 fiscal year.
I'll second it.
Motion by me, Jesse, second by Vicky to deny the application. Carol Captain is still indisposed. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-1. He can vote no.
Ridiculous, that's what it is.
All right, so we are going to be moving on. We'll have some folks to follow up with you a little bit later. You're certainly welcome to say for the rest of the meeting, if it's not an executive session. But you don't have to, you can watch it. Moving on to consideration and action regarding gift baskets for new businesses located in Aubrey city limits and within the ETJ. I don't want to get bogged down in the details of the baskets. I just want to make sure we have kind of like a consensus of the board that this is something we want to do, and then we can talk about details at maybe August and go through some of that. But we do kind of want to think about this from a budgetary aspect, right? Because we're still a budget on us for later in this second. So now would be a good time to go through it. And maybe do we want to do them? I know we did them in the past. We've had some changes. COVID obviously was a little bit earlier. Carol Captain's returned to the room at 7:01. And I mean, I kind of like them. I like having done it, but we should probably talk at least a little bit about determining a budgetary number and what I have, or at least have in our head when we actually talk about budget a little later. But if we're not going to want to do this, now's a good time to decide. And we're on to item 2, Carolyn. The motion to deny the application carried 5-1. So I know gift baskets. I mean, I think you were a fan of the gift baskets earlier. Vicky, I think you were. Do we want to gift basket for new business?
I like the idea of doing, I'm not saying a big, huge, gigantic 6-foot tall gift basket. I'm talking a small gift basket or a plant or something. Basically to advise people of who we are, what the MDD is, that we are out there, we are available for improvement projects and other things, because most people have zero idea that we even exist. So I think at least by doing that outside of the normal grand opening, more along the lines of maybe the first or second week that they're open. I think we should think about that.
I was involved in that, as y'all well know, and I totally support it because, I mean, we can keep it very cheap. I mean, it just be cookies on the flour or whatever we want. I don't think that was a lot, but it was the ones that I told they were very well received. We had the city manager come out at the time, I think it was Mark, and it's whoever wants to be in the week. I tried to do the presentation as if it was a big, I'm gonna try to blow it up as much as I could. And it was well received, and then we had the third room, as y'all know, and all that other stuff. So I support it.
Especially if we're using businesses in the area to provide the gift baskets.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of comments. Just so.
I think I've got several. We got two flower shops, we got other places and. And then that looks to know who we are and we're gonna do the business too. I mean, that's kind of a double. We're helping them out.
So can I ask, how much were y'all spending on that? Do you remember per basket? Like about how many a year you did?
Some of it is related, and it seemed like somewhere between the cookies and the flour and something like that, probably like 104.
Total for the year? Okay. Reason I'm asking is we're gonna have to consider, I want to make sure we've got enough when we get into our next budget item discussion that we have enough in there. So,
40 or 50.
So it just depends on what, I think you also kind of look at what you're gearing to and your size, but we're not gonna have that many new businesses, so we're not really talking about that much money. Why don't we just put an amount?
Okay, you say that, but
See that, think about right next to Jack's place, there's what, 4 or 5 businesses in that strip center that. all
Yeah, that-
opened up within the last year.
right.
it's gonna explode in the next year and a half.
At one point, mentioned
That's even Ann nodding her head.
that this, what, the city actually paid for this stuff last time, unless they billed us for it. I mean, I'm not aware of that. But I know we oversupplied cookies and we overdid it when we went out there.
Yeah, we should not.
We have way too much. So if we condense, I'm sure $50 easy would cover it, something like that. So it doesn't have to be, like I said, just a small token.
Yeah.
But our presence there with a little something in the door to make a little something out of nothing.
I mean, we can even do, I don't know, a card with, congratulations.
Maybe.
I've got a ton of MDD cards, their logos and everything sitting there in my desk.
You could probably prep something we could use
Mhm.
on it that was on an normal brain out there each time we go to
Mhm.
a place and just grab that card and set that up with the little token with cookies or whatever. You order them, get them, and one of us pick them up and go around.
Sure.
If we were looking at that, what if we did a range, because it could change, if you're doing cookies from a cookie place, you're doing a flour arrangement from a flour, we could say $50 to $75. How many businesses are we calculating so we can put a dollar amount in the budget?
But how many new businesses are gonna open in a given year? And when we say business, similar to our small business survival grant, we would not be including a home-based business, it would be, business in commercial, on-premise property inside the city limits.
It's very year to year, but.
What's the conversation? How much we're gonna spend? We're not debating whether or not we're gonna do it. It's what we're
Right.
valuing.
Estimated value.
We still have to make the action that we are gonna do it.
$1,500 a year, 75
Okay.
bucks times 20 businesses. $1,500.
I would say that's about right, 20, because we didn't have any businesses open in June, new businesses. We had 2 in May.
So there's your
Sure.
back,
There we go.
1,500, at max.
Okay.
I'd love to know they've got 20 businesses open.
And then, inside city limits only, or,
Well, no, we need to include the ETJ because we are part of, I mean, that's part of our territory. So we need to be considering the ETJ, I think.
I
Is,
think you should include the ETJ.
we include these jail.
Well, I think you have to, they pay taxes to us. So
Uh-huh.
well, good gifts have to go to each as well, I'm not sure.
So when we did the small business survival grant, remember they had to be inside the city limits. So I wouldn't.
These are gift baskets.
I understand,
Yeah.
but we were giving something away then, we're giving something now. So I want to make sure we're not like, at least we are allowed to do that inside our ETJ, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just remember we had that earlier. That was specifically doing it, it had to be in the city, so. All right, any heartburn on that?
As
nope,
long as it's within like
I
ETJ.
just need to make sure I have enough in that line.
I make a motion that we approve doing gift baskets for new businesses located in the Aubrey city limits and within the ETJ. Wait,
Motion
who
by-
seconded?
Mark,
Mark, thank you.
motion by Vicky, second by Mark. All in favor? And did you take a note when we turn?
Yes, I wrote it down. So when we get to that line, I
Motion
will make
carries
sure. it's
7-0. Similarly, consideration and action on a 12-12 or similar luncheon quarterly, biannually. There's a lot of details to this. We'll do a quick brief on this. We did 12-12 is all pre-COVID. So I think just Mark and Holly are new from when we did this last. So the idea originally is done with 12-12 via luncheon that we would sponsor, we put on, bring in business leaders, bring in, I'll say political leaders in air quotes, right? Because some of them will actually be politicians, like the commissioner for our precinct, the county commissioner would be invited. Not a politician, but kind of once again, they would be like city manager, perhaps Leanne, maybe somebody like the building. fire chief or something like that, so that these business leaders could talk to these folks and go, hey, one example we were given was like, if a restaurant is constantly getting checked by the health department, but they're only getting checked ever during rush and never during an off time, like, could you maybe mix that up and not hit everything that's fine during rush? Or something like that, again, when it comes to whether, availability of grants and things like that. So it functions a little bit like some of these other mixers, but because instead of we should be putting it on, sometimes we can get a little bit better attendance from a,
It was the concept, was to grow their businesses. That was the whole concept. But what we actually brought in at the time was the SBA to work them through loans, because I had someone come in and that was huge. I think even our shop out there did one. We brought in Kim Cole, not as a politician, to upgrade data on the 377. Everything we brought in was for business information to grow their businesses. And at that time, I don't even think we mentioned the grant program too. When we first set that up, the 12 and 12, when we came up on it, was for 12 business per month. What I found out real quick in working it and putting it together is Aubrey didn't have enough, because we have so many small businesses that you could get 12 different ones each time. When I found this program, when we first brought it on board, there was a bigger city and we didn't take that into consideration. It went around, we got rained out, but the first one we had great. We had a great turnout. We actually had such great feedback on it as well. But it was basically to help them build their business, offer resources to show them what's out there that a lot of people don't know that's out there. And then also to offer our support. One of the things that coming from it, I will tell you, we don't need to call it 12 and 12. 12 is fine, but we should not limit it. The original program limited businesses to one time. What we found was you're going to want the momentum to pick up, because the first 12 that went were great. They would have come again, but finding the next 12 that would commit was much harder in a small town, much harder. Especially we did them at lunch. Someone made that comment, some of the restaurants, that's their busiest time, so we couldn't get like some of those people to commit coming. So I'm not sure that you wouldn't do the same thing, but maybe change it up. The feedback was phenomenal. We had, great back on it. SBA was came up, showed them how to do it. I mean, we did it for information to promote your business. It wasn't a mixer. So basically saying you're going to connect with them, although that happens, it was to give them resources from a small business standpoint, how to grow into a larger business.
Well, you did a good job of that. I think you kind of headed that up for the most part, and you know,
and I just wish we would have continued it. And the time to get it at 12.
They needed it during
I wasn't very. We should keep the same one so that they would bring more people, so it could grow, because they were so excited.
Okay, again,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get like cash on the deal. We don't need to like write the whole program, like we've got a fairly long agenda, so. The kind of question is, do we want to revive that program? And then
Well, we needed to know
a
about it.
little
in order
bit,
to
yeah,
Be able to revive it, so.
Okay.
It was a good.
a little bit about it, and then do we want to revive it? And then the other thing I'd like for, if you can recall, what kind of cost might we expect per instance? I know you got one event that completely threw it, another was a while back.
Basically, the thing that we did last time, the Rancho gave us the place and did not charge us for the event. There was some disadvantages to that, but there's some, the food was catered in and they charged us, I want to say $15 a person to 18. I'd have to go back and look at it. It's reasonable. It's very reasonable.
Yeah, I remember it being fairly low cost. I just don't remember the cost off the top of my head. I know you were heading it up.
So I think we figured for 30 people, because we had the 12 and 12, we did food. We had all the people that came in as guest speakers. And then we had
Hugh
Beardley and
Hugh Coleman, Linda Williams, David
Superintendent.
Felding.
yeah, and so that came in. So that cost wise, it's really not that expensive. I'm thinking that even the city library is a good place, because it would be more local and you have parking. That was our problem. The parking there was so far away from the facility. The second time we did, it got rained out. We canceled it, poured down rain. Yeah, so, if you look at places like, I think it's very beneficial. I think there's so many small businesses that need help, and that's why they go one.
That makes sense.
They don't know where they can get resources.
Sure, well, so we need to like budget $10,000, would that get us 2? For sure, and then if we feel like we can get more than that, we could do more than that.
Well, if you did the library, it was like $150. I mean, you're talking less than $500, even with us doing gift baskets and doing favors, and we didn't spend that much money on it at all.
You said less than 500.
Kind of gone and bought all that stuff at night. We gave each one favors, like cookies, bills, and I would say, unless it grew, I'd say.
Maybe we start with $5,000. We can always amend the budget.
Okay.
You said 5,000
Yeah.
for the year and just decide,
And I
we can,
would say.
going
instead of-
forward, we can decide how many.
One,
Yeah.
we're looking at once a quarter.
I would just start out with
Uh,
one right now and then go from there, instead of saying we're gonna do them quarterly and then failing.
I mean, I think we want to have a more involved discussion on this, you know, to go through this and provide Christine the direction we want. But, you know, let's just say, for example, like, we're like, hey, we want to have it. Well, we probably the earliest we could really put one off the ground, maybe November, but we're probably really thinking January, right? Because December is usually just, yeah. but people
If
say-
we want to put one together, we can do it first of October. It doesn't take that much time.
Well, and I think,
I remember you also had a hard time getting people to attend on short
We,
notice.
yeah,
That was
it
an
wasn't that, it was the fact of the time we had it and the small businesses, I mean, we door to doored it. And that's what I was saying.
Yeah. well, now we have so many different ways we can communicate, I
Yeah.
think, but I think, you know, keep in mind, just for future, when you're thinking about it, November is Small Business Month. And I think it might be a good way to celebrate that if y'all wanted to do that, if October got too busy with people, but November is,
I think weather, a lot of times, people are less hesitant to get out in the colder weather and go places if it's not.
Yeah,
something They know what
yeah.
they're doing, but that's just my.
Yeah.
my thought.
well, yeah, it depends on what we're doing in November with weather here. Could be snowing.
Could be 95 degrees.
I'll make the motion to bring that back. Bring on the, what are we gonna choose?
Well, we don't, before we make a second,
Okay.
we don't actually have to take action. I want to bring this up as discussion so we can have a budget item. We can do discussion only on this if we want to, and have this roll into another month where we can actually take some time, really dive into this. When we don't have that budget time, we want to get this to the city. council. So would you like to table your motion?
Yes, I'll
Okay.
take it back.
To August
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
roll this to August, please. We'll do discussion only on this for,
for budget,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, so 5,000, we'll get to that in budget, okay.
yeah, and we'll just kind of have, we'll have it on our heads and it can be a motion for budget.
All right.
So everybody, to add to this, everybody knows that Point Bank does this, correct?
That's what I was gonna question.
Point Bank does the business breakfast.
Every Thursday or
Every
one,
other.
yeah,
Mhm.
on Thursday mornings.
They do them in Denton too.
Yeah, and Pilot Point.
And they just had Tracy Irby with the Women's Entrepreneur Center at TWU.
It's though, it's just
Yeah.
come in and listen to the speaker. It's not having tables set up for them to go fill out a grant application, SBA to talk one-on-one, help them.
Yeah.
Build it. So,
What Carolyn's talking about is very similar to a program that Mesquite has done, and they do it, and the reason I mentioned November is they do it in November because it's Small Business Month, but it's an entrepreneur education program they do, and they have people from their code department, planning, all these different city departments you have to deal with to get a business started or get your permits or whatever are there as well. But like banks and like you said, all those folks, small business people are the loan counselors are
And
there.
that's what it's for. because
Sure.
it's Something people don't know what's out there
Yeah.
available.
And May has also now become a small business month week. They have a small business week. So there's opportunities, I think, to tie it in. I just wanted to mention the idea that you and I talked about it, but Mesquite has a very similar program that's very much like what you were talking about. So
That sounds different than what.
yeah, it is different, I think, than what Point Bank does and what
Yeah.
Carolyn's talking about.
It's kind of like if you had a resource, like the people that just went out because they said they couldn't get employees, like for food.
Mhm, mhm.
And they'd have called the SBA, they could probably set them up
Mhm.
with several different programs of workforce and stuff, that actually got them, if
Yeah.
they'd known they could have done that.
Right, and Denton County, they have the Texas Workforce Commission, and Eric Shanks has an office there in Denton and a couple other people, but they've made a lot of efforts to get their word out throughout Denton County about the Workforce Commission and our opportunities for
There's actually
programs.
grants To get
Yeah,
people
there
to
are.
take certain work for workers.
Mhm,
and
they'll
stuff. So
pay-
There's a lot there that a lot
Yeah.
of people just don't realize.
Yeah. So we'll table it to August and I just
I'll budget, when we get to budget, we'll put in that amount, so.
Right, consideration and actually, I mean, consideration action on the website blogs and using AI and starter topics.
Can we,
This might be the sort of thing that we just kind of like, again, table to a later month so we can get through budget season. Does it sound acceptable to everybody on that one?
Is that even something like that we have to bring up?
well, I just wanted to, I don't necessarily know that we needed action at the time. I think I was thinking about government computers and not having, they're coming down on what you can or can't have on your computers these days, like TikTok. Not that I have a TikTok account you'll have to worry about, but I just want to make sure if there was any concern on using an AI app, not that I would use it, but I also wanted some starter topics and ideas from y'all. So if y'all want to think about that for August and come back with some ideas for blogs that we can incorporate putting on our website, I think that would be kind of like what Carolyn's talking about, would be things that we could put out on our website. And I would love volunteers who might want to write one. So think about that.
Okay, so no action on that.
Yeah, we'll just table it till August. Give y'all some time to think about.
Consideration and
Ideas.
action regarding the building sign.
Oh, yay.
No,
Okay,
Mural design.
We all design group.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
I wrote
Yeah.
on my wrote
right.
table on the wrong line. Thank you. ladies.
Okay, let me get my little arrow here. Okay,
Actually,
right.
call it when you were at work.
Okay, here we go. I gotta find my cursor, move it over. All right, so here it is. Y'all asked for the windows to be covered, so she went back and revamped the placement of the art elements and put them over the windows so that you wouldn't see those. The tree does not have to stay. These greetings from Aubrey can be changed. And the blue bonnets would not be on there until we have a public activity where people can participate and put the blue bonnets on it. Blue bonnets on it. It's a slogan.
Okay, what is the black thing over there by the Aubrey, the egg?
That's a tree. Oh, you mean on the left or the right?
Right.
Oh, that's a little chaparral. Oh, you mean the
The
Peanut
black
butter?
thing. That thing.
that was part of the bridge. She might have had to get creative with that. Yeah, the bridge was there before. I
Okay.
think because we had asked her to cover the window or incorporate the windows somehow, she had to, that might be a little church building like on our corner. You know how we have that little church building on the corner?
Yeah.
It's silhouette. But the silhouettes were to cover the windows. So what I asked her to do was give me what it would look like with the windows covered, because in the last meeting,
Yeah.
they did not like the windows open. So we can, without editing her total creative artistic talents, I think we can say we like the elements over the windows. If we want to change the wording, like from greetings from Aubrey to welcome to Aubrey or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah,
and we want
that's
Horse Country USA on there, we can do that later.
Yeah, because where the tree was, it was supposed to say, welcome to horse country, and we're
Right.
gonna move the horse and.
Yeah,
so
the
it's
only, she is open to flexible adjustments. I just need to get the approval to schedule her to get this started. We will have another final drawing that she can give us. And I did not know what exact words we wanted. I knew we wanted horse country, knew we wanted welcome to Aubrey. So she can do other lettering. The main thing is getting on her schedule and getting this out before Peanut Festival so that the blue bonnets can be, and the artwork of people's fingerprints and all that can be incorporated in an activity at Peanut Festival if we want to do it there, or we can do our own little activity and have a food truck and some other vendors out here to celebrate the mural and ask everybody to come out and put their fingerprints and whatever on it. So I just I didn't want to belabor this and go on much longer because she's going to get busy, and her team some of them are teachers, and they'll be starting back to the classrooms, and it'll delay when we can get some work started. But if you absolutely hate what's over that window silhouette, we can say, just leave it blank like the bridge, just make it part of the bridge. And we can say, take the tree out and put Horse Country USA.
I hate that tree.
It's not the real tree either. When she uses this program, she is literally just on an iPad sketching it. So it's not gonna be like that on the building. This is a draft
Yeah.
with a concept. I want the concept. We need the concept approved.
And artists, you're gonna have to pick an artist. And you're gonna have to accept their concept, and you're gonna have to let the artist do their job, okay? I mean, you're not gonna be able to go in and start telling an artist, move this, move that, you're gonna have to come up with a. I mean, you're not gonna be able to do this mural by committee. The artist is gonna have to do it.
Yes, and it is art. So I just want to remind y'all that we can't, like, while we can't fine line it, we can say, we want this word, these words on it, and we want these things, these icon images on it. And we want the blueprint, blue bonnets with the footprints, I mean, the fingerprints and thumbprints, and we want it at this event or done by this time. Because she gets busy, excuse me, she gets busy and she has projects out of state. There you go.
Is there another iconic, large silhouette you're thinking of?
Black screens up there. So what they're trying to do is try to incorporate.
Yeah,
black
the
screens.
previous drawing showed the windows and it was kind of, yeah.
I'll have to think about that. I don't know.
There's
Not-
a be there, but you're needing to just make the list.
We're either taking action now or we're not.
Well, then, it's just not what we talked about last meeting, so that's why I was kind of like, whoa, wait a second. So.
Y'all did like the peanut dryer, you liked the horse, you liked the bridge, and y'all like the chaparral.
Mhm.
So those are all still in there. I do think she just had to get creative with that one window on the right-hand side, so we can say, make it part of the iron bridge that it originally was, because it actually didn't look too terrible. But
Yeah, I
the
don't
tree
think
can
it's-
go, and we can fine tune that later. But in order for me to get on her schedule, we have to say, yes, we want this done and we're gonna get it set and we want this done by this time in time for Peanut Festival or in time for an
I'll
event.
just ask one thing, I think this is about picking the artist, okay, I think that's where we're at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, we have seen none of her work. I would like to see a mural she's done.
Okay,
She's done.
yeah,
I don't wanna put this.
No, no, no.
off, But I mean, we're hiring somebody. without
let
having
me,
any idea
can I email that to y'all? She's
based on
got
that.
pictures and work all over the country. So can I email that to
Absolutely.
y'all?
Okay. I'm not doubting her qualifications. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, if I'm gonna say, yeah, let's. spend
Sure,
$7,500 or whatever it is, at least we should maybe at least have a picture of what her actual artwork is instead of.
other than just
Electronic.
trusting me that I know her and she's done a great job. I get it.
I'm not doubting that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that would be
Yeah,
where I would be, but if we're in a crunch time.
Does that sound like we'd be doing our fiduciary duty and not asking for? anything?
I'm fine with asking for her samples. That's totally fine.
Is there
I
something
mean,
else?
she
That's
would
why
have
we
come,
take everybody-
she would have come to the meeting to present if I thought we had time for all that, and I could have her come back
Do you
in
have a website?
August.
Do you have a Facebook?
Let me text her, because
Ask her if she's
Facebook
got
is,
something on her website that we can just look at.
let me just text her while we're sitting here.
She. I'm gonna tell you, I'm
Can we come back to that?
My reason for that, you know, people that drive up and down 377, my wife does a Christmas sign every year. And she has different people, and it's volunteers, she buys the paint, kids come out. There's some years it's like cool as heck, and then there's some years it's like,
She,
man, we need to go
Yeah.
for white paint and
She
paint over
can-
top of this and start over.
she can do the ones with kids. These
Well,
would
you're
not
not
be
gonna do
kids.
that. You're
Yeah,
not
these would not be
When
kids.
somebody paints you a piece of art, you know, we're committed to it till January 1, till we can paint over top of it. We got signs out there that we were like. It's funny, we can bring this like, wow, your sign looks really good this year. Yeah, no, we got a little bit, you know, a little bit. That's my reason for saying that.
Yeah, if you can you look up, I don't know if she's finished yet. She just did a sculpture for Parks and Rec, in City of Denton at the tennis center. I don't know if there's a picture of it up there, huh?
Facebook?
Yeah, I'm sure, asking her, she has a personal one, but I don't know if her business, it's Christine Sanders. And she used to work at Greater Denton Arts Council. She's done some stuff there, but, let me see, I'm gonna ask her if she can send me some pictures.
I'm all for.
Yeah.
Letting them, we can find some, but like I said, I don't think we can micromanage her
Right,
artwork. I mean, I think we
For
have to.
sure.
I think we have to say, you know, this is the theme, you make it look good, and at the end of the day, we do a little bit of due diligence on what her
Yeah.
artwork is like. We have a pretty good idea we're gonna like it. Like I say, it's a wall out there, it can always be painted over the top of and start over.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that's
yeah.
best case scenario, you know?
yeah, now and again. I am texting her now. If she's available, she'll text me back. If not, we can wait till August. I can tentatively get her on a schedule of saying, hey, can we The main thing is, I think we need to,
We
it's,
go back to
we-
this, if she texts back. and
yeah,
she
if
gets
y'all
all
want,
the
that's up to
agenda,
Jesse.
Go back to it, if she texts you and.
Can you want to go to the building sign next? while we wait?
Get it done tonight and be done.
Okay.
But I'd like to see, I wouldn't mind seeing
Okay.
tomorrow.
So
Yeah.
now I'm actually taking discussion only on.
And if she texts me by the end of the meeting, can we go back to it? If y'all want,
Sure.
if
yeah.
she texts me by the end of the meeting, okay, that's fine. I've texted her. I just, y'all don't want me getting on Facebook. I'll get all distracted.
Consideration regarding the buildings.
Building sign, okay, thank you. No, hold on, let me scoop Alicia over here. But, all right, so here is the information on sign, which again, bear in mind that larger one was for the top sign, which was gonna be the Chamber of Commerce sign. We'll explain that in a minute. So in the last two meetings, y'all had discussion on what you want on the sign. We looked at a metal cutout, like welded metal sign cutout. And from a new business that's in Aubrey, but that sign was going to be about $4,570. And it would be just the brown aluminum. It wasn't gonna have any color. So, or not aluminum, metal. So the McDormand signs got back to me with a design for using aluminum on the building, which would not fade. So this is what she came back with on our sign. And then this was if the chamber wanted to use her and their design and get a sign for themselves at the top of the building. That kind of looks like barnwood on the design, just so y'all know. But this here is silver and it's got our logo. I thought it looked pretty cool. But
You mentioned the $350 for the standoff. I don't think you're gonna wanna do that. I think you're gonna want that building right. That
you want it
side.
flush? You
I
think
think
we
you're
need
gonna
flush?
put it up against the building just for
Oh.
that festival and all the people are gonna be out there. I mean, it's gonna be a lot sturdier. It's not gonna look that much different standing off with it being a solid. If it was individual letters where you had the shadow of the letter, all you're gonna have is a shadow of the state of Texas. And it's not gonna be near as strong as if it's mounted to that building. So I don't think I don't think it's gonna look that much different. I think it's gonna be more susceptible to damage by doing the standoff. I could be wrong.
But it's gonna be sticking track on it.
Yeah, I'm thinking spider webs.
I just think it needs,
Bird
if
nest.
you're gonna go with a solid sign, I think personally. That it needs to just be mounted to the wall and call it good.
Okay,
And getting out with a pretty nice sign for $400. I mean, I
Okay.
think that's kind of a no-brainer.
And I'm sure still have some sort of card for
sorry.
information. I know it'll be-
Yeah.
It's
cool the way that's out
here's the show who she is.
That they do that sign the way they've done it, where they have A's sticking up out of, the panhandle, the Y sticking out in East Texas, and, I mean, the way that's sticking out, I think is. I like that a lot.
Okay. So flush against the building.
That's just,
Okay, no, I believe me, I know what'll gather behind that because we pop it out. So I'm a little concerned about bird nest and everything else gathering.
That just framed it, like the outer edge, just what's this there, the flat sign, but the very outer edges of the outskirt was in black to pull in our black trim. But
Oh, like
also
a
keep that black
shadow.
from flashing with the black tint.
sure. we're gonna do that.
Okay, I could ask her.
So,
It
like
was
there,
silver, it's not, okay,
well, that's what you said, silver.
it was black, I mean.
Did you say it was silver?
It is silver, yes. So it's silver, but I think the
That's a good-
black shadow might not be a bad idea because it wouldn't pop, it would help it pop.
Yeah.
I can ask her.
I think it was.
Trust Carolyn, when she's talking about design.
Yes. Yeah, listen, I don't want me, I just want y'all to know too, these paper blinds are to help keep the thermostat from going off a million times a day, so. I'll ask her that and see if she can send us a new little picture of it, of what it would look like, but if y'all like that design and y'all like that and the price is right, can we move forward with that? It's $390 plus the $350 installation, but that was for two signs, so if we don't install the chamber sign, we did show the chamber, Jana and Jennifer, that sign, by the way, they wanted to go back to their board and see if they want to do a sign like that. They may not want that logo on the sign of the building, so they're gonna get their own sign.
Where do you get the
To compliment.
$350 for the installation?
Well, that's where I think he was gonna do it for installing both signs onto the building, but now it may just be
With
one. So,
standoffs and having to
it'll
go
be
out, but
cheaper,
just to
yeah.
mount that,
yeah,
that sign on that building,
it's gonna go down, the cost of them. I'm sure, because they're only gonna do one sign
it's a
now.
local company, right?
It's McDormand
Yeah.
signs. And so they're gonna do, it'll go down, the cost will,
I mean, we could do something that's like not to exceed $500, right?
the installation, or
No,
you mean the
the-
price of the sign? Oh, well, if you took the installation in half, that's what, 175 plus 390. Oh, okay, y'all think it's gonna make that much difference?
Let's make sure we have the money, and see how about it, you know, I'm sure we should, I would guess we should be able to get it done for 500, but.
What if-
Let's plan on 600.
Buffer it 600,
I
okay,
wouldn't want the deal to go away or wait 30 days for $100.
Yeah.
okay.
And then you feel comfortable with their input on like the edge of that sign and all of that?
I can ask her to show us what it looked like. I'm sure that's fine. And I'll run it by you, Carolyn, just to make sure it's what you're thinking from a design standpoint. I always appreciate a second opinion, so. So let me,
Sounds like the interior design on the building,
I think it looks great. That's why she's probably really cringing at my little paper shades, but I couldn't decide what to do.
Like you're ready to make-
Make a motion to, go, we'll make it to approve the sign design, $600 maximum. With the black shadowing, yeah, I do that. The
Okay.
slight modifications, I butchered that pretty good, I'll second it.
Okay, I'll go back and listen to the recording and try to clean it up.
Yeah, just add me out of it, that'd be great.
No, you're on there too much. You're on there. You can't back out
Motion
now.
by Jack and second by Johnny, all in favor. Motion carries 7-0.
All right.
Item number 7, discussion regarding,
Did you guys have the information on from what's her face, the pictures? Did you get a response back?
Oh,
yet
no,
from
not
the
yet.
person?
No,
or I'm just gonna
from
keep.
Christine. Okay, yeah.
Discussion regarding the MDD property storage building demolition. Leanne.
Yay, Leanne.
Um. Again, I think our previous motion is like, tell us a good time. If it works for you. I'm sure you don't want to do it like, say, you wouldn't want to do it Friday. If you've got comfort at the park on Saturday, so.
Right. So you guys have decided if you want to take it down. So we get a building permit for the house. And make sure there's a checklist for that as far as having all the utilities, this guy business and for it. We need 2 weeks notice. We'll start getting dumpsters and all that stuff scheduled and get it down. July is what we are. Oh, yes, we have music in August as well.
We do. I thought it was July's the last one. I don't think it's in August. No, we did May, June, and July. Yeah.
So if we don't have music in August, then August would be for us.
Charles, we don't have music in August, correct?
No.
Okay, so, but she said something about doing a no, but that's not gonna be right here. Okay. Sorry, Chamber mentioned something about a back to school event, but that won't be here.
I thought we kind of approved that.
We approved the 5,000 expenditure. I needed y'all to clarify that I wanted her to give us an update on what she needs from us on the schedule and then the permit and stuff.
Then, because we're talking about.
You'll have to pull
That was
it.
flat on
I have to pull a permit and then I have to figure,
Look at the slab.
yes,
That's what we're-
yeah.
This is just a discussion item. It's
But
not-
then there was an electrical, we have to not detach, disconnect the electrical and all that. We have to do that first before they'll start. Yeah, okay,
That's just a discussion item.
yeah.
Any other questions on storage building status at the moment?
In case y'all were having buyer's remorse, I just wanted you to have a chance.
Well, we couldn't do any of
I
that.
know, I'm kidding.
I know. me too. Still there.
Item number 8, discussion regarding the matching program and progress. Christine.
Okay, so just again, another verbal update because we don't really have much to show on the map, but we have been working with the map company, Christy, Sayer and I, We can do versions of the map that will include the housetops coming in to Aubrey that have been approved, that we know are coming in. We'll have it'll have pop-ups or information on a pop-out box of how many housetops are on the ground, how many are coming in. What we're waiting on is some annexation decisions before we can make that final adjustment on the map, but I'll get some printed to take to shows. I'll get layers done with, of what we want, that we think what we know developers need to know when they're looking at bringing in a business or any kind of retail or restaurant, what have you. And the land use and all of that will be on the maps that we get. So really,
This will be on our maps or the city's map.
well, it'll have information on like, is this the zoning, I guess is what I should say. The zoning will be like, is this commercial? Where's your commercial corridor? That kind of thing. So, because we'll need the commercial corridor on ours and future commercial or land use if there's available commercial coming up. So those are in the works, but we still don't have a map to print out yet. But
I figure that's gonna take a minute as Kristen gets up to date and get up on it, but I also kind of figured that like zoning and future land use would be part of the city's 6.
but we can put it on our map if I can use it on our layer. Like we can take layers and create a customized map. So it's just, we have two maps, two versions we can do. And then we can print some and the rest would be on our website. And we can update it. We've got one map that's getting done right now that is getting pins dropped. The city staff's working, one of the planners actually is working on dropping pins on every business in the ETJ and Aubrey, especially in the Aubrey zone, but she was dropping pins. Wasn't LaShondra dropping pins, Leanne, on like the venues and stuff? I thought she was. Okay. But it'll be helpful because they'll be able to like get on our map and click on it and see what do we already have on the ground here in Aubrey, if they're looking at it online. And then I'll
That's
have
the
a
same
list.
question I asked every month, and that is timeframe.
Yeah.
I just
Charles,
keep
when
asking.
is that annex?
Progress.
Yeah, it's all waiting on the annexation information to be updated, but is that?
Engineer.
All approved yet?
They just finished the annexation map. It's about 3/4 of the way done. They're having difficulty with the ordinances from way back when, understanding them, and there's some overlap and some other issues. So they're trying to finish that, and then they'll have to do ETJ, and you want to know what your ETJ is.
Sure.
So the ETJ is going to be a little simpler because it's just a mile from our city limits, and we have agreements with a number of residents, probably 80 or 90 residents that have agreed back in the times to be in our ETJ. So that should, they're doing the hard part. So once they get that done, that'll be on the plan. I don't know. I wish it was today.
No, I understand. I mean, and the only reason I keep asking the question is the city's changing, and things are changing so fast. It seems like we're changing faster than we can even get the initial.
Yeah.
map up.
But the good thing is, once the base is done, when you do change, it's real time. So if we add a.
Did they anticipate it taking this long?
Well, it's taking this long, it's our fault.
Oh, okay.
Because we've been waiting on you to be here so that we can all work together and get what we need done. Some of the base mapping was done, so it's not their fault at all.
Okay.
So,
We haven't been able to provide them the data they need. Some of the maps, we're having to build the data they need,
yes,
so they can build the maps.
Yeah.
so the GIS part of it too, we're having to do all of that. So it's not on the, but it is getting closer. I think I've seen some of the stuff they've done so far. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
But once the core of it is finished, if we have a new subdivision that comes in and they give us a concept map, we hand them that file and they put it on the map in 30 minutes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
once all of that is done, once we get our core done, and once we get that ETJ done. The only thing that'll change on our ETJ is the next time we have a population increase, I forget what it's at, maybe. I don't think it's at 10, it's probably closer to 20, when we have another ETJ increase. So
We're talking 90 days, 6 months, what do you think? Putting you on the spot here, Charles.
well, these have more than I have.
Well, Christy and I met last week, and as soon as the annexation maps are done, she's gonna have some of the information that they need to put it into the maps that we would also be using. Again, because it's like layers. So I have to wait for that annexation information to be in there. And then now obviously ETJ because it's us, but we have got the capabilities to go in and I can edit, like I can ask them, go ahead and add this pin for this business in the ETJ, or I can do all that now. But I mean, we could print them as is now for what a basic map that we need and want in terms of for shows. We like that has our demographics, that has the housetops, how many are coming in for the updating our subdivision names, that kind of stuff we can print now.
Printing was fairly expensive, wasn't
I just don't want to print it till, I mean, and we don't have a show,
it?
right?
I think I paid for some
Yeah.
upfront printing side once we're done, just a representative, but I think a better thing that we can do once we get the maps, and if we can go somewhere with a paper map, you can show the paper map. If it's somebody really important, you can give them one, we can also do that on card with QR codes on, we'll take them directly to our maps. That'll be.
And that information will always be updated, but at current, the last page.
And map will not.
Right.
It should be there now, but we can call the engineer and find out when they're going to be finished with this map, with this annexation at EPJ. I would say that we're well over $50,000 at this point, probably approaching 75 to 100 to get it done. So it's an arduous process when you're talking about that amount of money. Because they're researching these ordinances one by one by one, and I think they've been working on it since last October, November.
Is that why we've seen so many cleanup annexations for city properties?
Some of that, yes, that has brought up some of it. We're doing one at the next meeting, the regular meeting, we'll start one. We had to start over because there was an error, the mayor caught it at the meeting, and it was a 50-foot error that he caught, and we have to start over on that.
The one over, yeah.
Because there's two different annexation ordinances and they overlap each other. And so the engineer used the one that he thought was correct. But in reality, he should have used the other one at exercising caution because it was more where it had to be.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I'm not gonna print anything until all that more permanent stuff is set. It would just be a waste of money. But in terms of online, there's stuff we can use now and do, and we've been doing, but in terms of printing, I'm not printing anything till we don't have shows anyway till this fall, so I wouldn't really need them.
Some online, can you share them with us, or like, where are they at? The ones that-
That is a publisher, has been published.
Well,
That's
there's a
different.
link, yeah, I can do it in August. If I have time, I can plan it, I can log in and we can show you, but I don't know that we have time for that, but
No.
I do have a way to log in, yes. That's why I got the big TV.
I think that would be,
I think that would be helpful for y'all to see what it looks like, but yeah. So,
It'll be interesting if your concept art for our 4 slides too.
or two.
Yeah, well, right.
Okay, I'll get with Christy. Because,
Y'all were talking about two different things. She's talking about printing a map and adding layers to it. That it would print the layer from the zoning on something that was one of MDD's for, you could print one of the city's zoning maps on that same map. You can mix it.
yeah,
That's That's what she's trying to say earlier.
thank you.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm trying to
So
say.
it's still good map printing. Now we get 10 slides. We
Yeah.
broadly get 10 slides, they get 6, we get 4.
Yeah, I'm all about, like, I just don't want to, I hate wasting paper and print. If we aren't ready for it. So and I won't have a need for them until the fall in terms of paper, but we do have developers that are really wanting to kind of get some stuff done.
Yeah, something that would go fast and get better. But. What it is.
so there's no discussion, right?
What?
On 8,
It's-
it's just
There
a
is
discussion, I mean, it's just a discussion.
Yeah.
not
so
a-
after that,
Right. Okay.
Item number 9, consideration and action regarding the Aubrey strategic plan or Aubrey municipal development strategic plan.
It's a strategic plan because it's everything, because we are gonna have to include a lot of stuff. Kind of like that map. It's like layered. They can't decide what's gonna be commercial until we know what land is gonna be zoned commercial, and we can't, and they need to know from us what we want as a MDD and economic development program, what we want to have happen in commercial zoning and where we believe that would be best, highest use in Aubrey and ETJ. So I've done a lot of calling and research and talking to ED professionals, consultants. TEDC was very helpful at this for the timing of all this. Greg Last, met him and talked to him. And he remembered doing the Aubrey, the MDD work plan that he did for y'all. He remembered Aubrey well. He also worked with William and Dennison, who is now in Gainesville, and recommended William. I think Leanne worked with him too. Made some recommendations of folks to call. So I talked to Greg Last at length about, strategic plan estimated costs of what we need that can roll into a comp plan and be used in complementary ways with the city's comp plan. So talked to him, talked to Tip Strategies, which is out of Austin, and they do a lot of strategic plans throughout the state and the country, but they mostly do strategic plans, not necessarily, they do a lot of, they don't typically roll in strategic with comp. So talked also, but I got some good input on cost expectations.
Explain that a little bit. Just the
Yes.
difference between how the strategic plan and comp plan, how they tie together.
Okay, well, great question, because Chance Sparks with Friesen Nichols answered that question for me in an email this week. And he said that they can have a consultant doing the comp plan, that they would have they'd have a sub consultant working in conjunction with them in all of the open public sessions, input sessions, helping do the research on public input on research online, in-person sessions, online Zoom calls, town hall meetings, all of that. They would work in conjunction with the person. They would help us contract with that person to do our strategic plan at the same time, because the strategic plan process would probably start a little bit before the comp plan, just because you need some answers for that from our strategic plan for economic development in Aubrey and the ETJ in order for comp plan to really be able to go forward and pick out that, update our land use plans, update our transportation corridor, downtown master plan and all that, because things are changing so quickly that if we say as a strategic plan, we want the east side of the ETJ to be able to grow and have X amount of businesses or these types of businesses, they could use that information in a comp plan process. So and we need to involve the ETJ and the citizens and residents there in the strategic planning and comp planning for that matter, but they can double up those open meetings and sessions to gather input instead of having 2 or 3 different ones and spending more money on a consultant that way. So he says that I asked him, what do you think altogether a total package would run for doing this in conjunction with one another? And he says it could be anywhere from $225,000 to $275,000 if you're running, 2 programs together. So it would be these things can take 9 months to a year once you get the RFP approved, and you get the RFP won't take that long to write. It's the approval of, the contract, the bids that come back. That takes a while. And once you get that approved, they can get started. And it usually takes, so we're looking at next summer before we'd have one even almost completed.
The parks plan took 9 months.
So, yeah, I was thinking that was kind of fast, actually, when you said 9 to 12
Yeah.
months.
I was thinking more like 18.
Yeah.
It could be that long. I just told him we didn't want to make it that long because we need to make decisions before developers come in and make decisions for us or tell us.
You need to get that information.
Yeah.
down on paper.
And
Sure.
And the other thing about a comp plan and even our strategic plan is comp plan is going to include landowners that haven't sold yet, that they're going to be involved in the discussions of what's the future of that land use or what can go over there in that area. Maybe someone would you know, change their mind about their land and who they sell it to. I don't know, maybe some folks would be like, oh, I'd rather have this kind of stuff, a business on my land or whatever. I want commercial. I mean, you don't know until you start holding those discussions. So, he gave me an email that was pretty much giving me an idea of, from Friesen Nichols. This is Chance, said that basically, there would be about 6 advisory committee meetings involved, and 2 in-person public meetings, a day of stakeholder meetings. Again, this is where we would all combine the efforts and resources and costs so that we wouldn't have to have all these separate meetings. And we would have one project website that, you know, they would let us get feedback from the public that way through maps, interactive maps and online surveys and wall ideation stuff. So they're pretty high tech when they do these. Adoption meetings would have to be held, and then the comp plan would have their own meetings that they've got to have, that our stuff would roll into those meetings, in those sessions planning, because you have to have vision, you got to have guiding goals. We are a huge part of that vision of the comp plan, especially with as much land as we still have out there that's not developed yet. So
And how much of our input goes into that?
all of it, like the
I
consultant
understand.
would work with
The
us.
reason I'm talking about, it's like, we're trying to get the max stuff done,
Mhm.
okay? We're trying to fight through that process of getting that information. So now we've got the same thing with the strategic plan. I mean, we have the resources, we have the people, are we able to get, how much of this stuff are they digging up on their own? Finding whatever analytics they need to find, or how much of it is supplied by us, for them to put a program together?
Well, the good
Just trying to
news.
figure out exactly how
Sure.
the program works.
The good news for us is we have that action plan from 2018 that they can take and use as a starting point with us for strategic plan and revising and building a stronger strategic plan.
First, remember what strategic plan you're referring to.
It's an action plan that Greg Last did in 2018.
Oh, our action plan.
Yes,
Okay,
the
okay.
MDDs,
And you,
Okay.
It's not a true strategic.
right, it is.
Right, I know exactly what you're talking about, when you come up with Craig. Yeah.
So,
the other one, the old one that they did. in
well, yeah, the
2014, right?
comp plan from 2014 that never got adopted. There's a comp plan for Aubrey, but
It
so
was-
much has changed. And you have to update your comp plans anyway, as a city. Cities update their comp plans they review them every 5 to 10 years. So
Correct.
that's a starting point as well for a consultant. So we, as a MDD board, would definitely have input on looking at the RFPs, the bids, giving our input there. We would be in those meetings. We definitely want to be, you'd have me in those meetings, in every public meeting and all those sessions that they'll hold to get public input. And I would hope all the board or most of the board would want to be there as well.
I was referring to the data collection.
Oh, well, a lot of them have their own research tools they're using. That's why it's so expensive. Because they don't use cheap stuff.
They'll do all of the work. That's why it's so expensive.
Right.
Okay, yes, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
How much digging are they gonna do versus how much are we gonna have to provide them? We're gonna be able to put our input
Mhm.
into what
They-
they're creating.
We'll guide the work, but they'll do it.
Okay.
Yours is gonna come from the
Okay.
citizens.
All right, I just
Right.
making sure I
And
understand.
They've got those tools and all the technology stuff we don't have and that we wouldn't even know how to use in terms of analysis and data research and all of that. They would take that and they take it from our input. So it is a long process to go through these plans, but it is absolutely worth it for the highest and best use of your land and also getting the commercial zoning where you really need it. And my concern is always going to be about, okay, we have a potential toll road exchange coming right into our community. What is that going to look like once it's done? If we have a comp plan and a strategic plan that works together to say, we want that area to look like this and to have this much, this use for this land and this here, we have a say in that. And it's not necessarily decided for us in terms of what it looks like off the highway.
We have 2 businesses right now, one that's, I guess they're nationwide. That they own businesses already near here that want to move here, but they can't convince their corporate. Because we can't provide them with enough structured data that's been put together by Friesen Nichols or somebody like that. We have said everything we can say to this gentleman to help him with this corporate environment. But I still don't think they're going to let him move on to
And,
open a new business here
Yeah.
yet.
and I,
Even though we know it's about to explode. we know it's like, well, I know he did that, but I don't have a probable cause to say he did. So it's the same thing. They don't have anything in their hand that we can give them and say, here's us right here. Come.
Yeah, having that structure provided, it prevents a lot of just fly by night stuff going on. I mean, if you've got some structure and you've got a game plan. And I'm not gonna say, I mean, I think every city's been guilty of probably just taking the best deal they can take at the time and just, slapping stuff together and without a rhyme or reason to put it all together. And this, but I feel like you need a overall plan to put all the tile pieces together and instead of a hodgepodge footwork type situation that we're dealing with right now.
If I can,
If we don't have something, we will be taking. it.
so on that point, tip strategies just today, I was talking and I wrote this down because he says our strategic plan decisions will be critical in the comp plan process, or we will end up looking like other communities everywhere else. And he said, how we create the comp plan, the strategic plan that feeds into it is how we create a sense of place, not just a place where you lay your head and go to bed. We will create a sense of place. And that is businesses and local businesses and recreational places that people can go and use. I mean, as an MDD, we're not just stuck. We have opportunities to have recreational facilities that can feed into the businesses. So into the business and climate and sales tax. So this isn't, it's so much bigger. And I just know from my experience being in Denton, all those years, when we went through the master plan processes and comp plans and whatever, the comp plan had to take into consideration all these master plans that were already set and adopted, so that nobody could come in and just take over this one half of downtown and just say, well, we're gonna do this here. It had to all feed in together. So
How's that partnership work with the city and MDD and how does that touch on that, how all that stuff ties together?
well,
From a cost standpoint,
Oh.
planning standpoint, just the whole big picture. I'm just trying to get a
well, if
30,000-foot view of this whole situation.
so, the estimated cost, if, like I said, from a Freeze and Nichols, it isn't a bid, so I can't say this is a quote for sure, but when I got ballpark figures, all of them were around the same, anywhere from 225, 275, 300,000. When I talked to several different, I talked to other cities.
Strategic plan.
No, all of it together with a strategic plan being done in conjunction with. So we would have ultimately you'd have two consultants working alongside one another. And we would have that person working with us to work on our strategic plan so that when the comp plan time comes for feeding all of that into and interweaving it into the strategic plan, it's into the comp plan, it's there. So
What's the commitment plan, once that's adopted, what's the future city government, future city council, future mayors?
I'm gonna let,
What's their commitment to that comp plan that's been adopted?
Hard to go against it once you do it. Once you spend that much money, and you put that much effort into it, and your growth is in that direction, it would be hard to move away.
No, we didn't.
We've never had a plan like this. We have a
It's
comp
not
plan
adopted.
before it cost $6,000 and it wasn't even adopted.
Right.
So once it's adopted by ordinance, you're going to have a hard time with the resolution. The ordinance resolution, however we adopt it, it's going to be difficult to get away from. In fact, once we have, there are statutes that require us to have this comp plan for certain portions like impact fees, what else is it? Impact fees, park fees, our master fee schedule, all of this depends on a comp plan. Right now, we're using our master parks plan and our master land use plan that's lengthy. We're using those two things as a comp plan together. And
So if they change it, then it just have to be a variance process through, about the just on an individual case by case basis.
it is a plan. So, you can have a council deviate from it if they want to. You can't lock them in.
No, it's just.
So anytime, there is a, development, a plat, an issue that needs to go in front of a commission, those are the things they use. So for them to approve or deny, it has to be it has to be consistent with the future land use plan or not consistent to deny. All those things they have to use when they're hearing those cases.
And until you adopt that kind of plan, then it's just free for all.
And we
Yeah.
have some of those.
Regularly.
The way around those is when a developer comes in and wants to do a development agreement. That's where they get to go around those plans somewhat. But typically they currently follow those plans. When P and Z hears a case, BOA, they're following those plans that we have in place.
Well, you answered almost all my questions. That's one about the money.
Yeah, so you're,
It depends on how we write the RFP. So in the request, the proposal, when we go out for bid, we either go, you go separate, we go separate, or we go together. We explain in there what we want. We explain that we're looking for someone that can do a strategic plan for our MDD, a comp plan for the city, working side by side, minimizing costs, not combining meetings, this, that, and the other. We tell them what we want. So it depends on what we want to put in that RFP. And it'll say in there, a minimum of 2 public meetings, a minimum of this, a minimum of that. We'll tell you in there.
It is gonna change based on that. I mean, if we just, we're gonna start at least because of these costs going up for a lot of these consultants. 50 to 75,000 for strategic plan at the basic level. But if we're asking them to come in and do the meetings in conjunction with the comp plan meetings and gather input and all that, they would partner. We could ask that they partner together and save some of that money. So
We're saying partner, but the RFP may bring about a company like Freeze and Nichols and somebody else who does the whole thing.
right.
Yeah.
If we
No,
we can have someone do it.
I was talking about 2 different companies. I was talking about the partnership between the MDD and the city of Auburn from a cost standpoint.
But there are some companies that they will answer the RFP and they will outsource the strategic plan part of it for the EPD and bring another company in with them.
So
Right.
They can put that in there.
Yes.
So that's what I'm talking, that's what I mean by that.
So.
Yes, to be subcontracting out there.
Sure.
Yeah. Some companies, from what I've talked to, some companies are getting away from doing that. They'll refer you on to someone else or a company that does do it, because they think it's easier sometimes to have a company that has an in-house strategic plan consultant or person that works on economic development strategic plans. So costs are rising. I do know that. It's sticker shock. I get it. But we're in 2023. Everybody's costs have gone up to do business on anything. So it's just, when we looked at 2014's plan in terms of a comp plan, I don't know how much, I don't even know who did that, how much it costs, but
One bad deal done because you don't have a plan costs you a whole lot more than $300,000.
Sure.
Spent 14,000 on the comp plan, 23,000.
Nothing.
and we ended up with,
Some of that 23 is not the downtown master plan. The downtown master plan was a portion of it. So this same company ended up with $37,000, 1450.
Works plan was 175.
Just the park plan, and that will become a tab inside the comp plan. They'll use part of that information for their.
Yeah.
comprehensive as well.
so I heard you say 50.
that's bare minimum. So depending on what the RFP is including, it may be more than that, but if we're asking them to hold public meetings, do online, do some like Zoom meetings online, do the town hall type meetings at the library, do input meetings with all of our like planning, zoning and council and y'all and everybody, that's where, but we need all that input. I think you need the ETJ residents
We're
input.
using the citizens' money, we should expect them to have their input.
Right, I mean, you want their input because you want it to be a community and a place. It's not just a city that has streets. We want to be a place. We want to be attractive for someone to want to come live here or build their business here. And again, something else he said to me today on the call is that our land use is critical to the tax base. And we have a critical role in the decisions that will happen in a comp plan. So I think from my professional standpoint and advice or just input, it is critical that you all sit at the table and have a say in that strategic plan guides Aubrey's future for the city to be able to go forward and develop a comp plan that will hold out in 20, 30 years. And again, you have to go back and revisit these all the time because things change. So I've seen too many things that don't get done because there isn't a plan. So
I'm not disputing doing the plan. My very basic question is, if we go in on this together, what is our cost? That's my question. If we're talking about 300,000, what is our cost gonna be?
We don't know.
it could be anywhere from 50 to 125,000, depending on the RFP, how it's written and what comes back. So
I understand about the RFP. I think my bottom line is if we're trying to budget this, what are we looking at? We're not obviously looking at the full 300.
right.
I don't want to do the bare minimum. You've already gone through that. We've already talked about the fact we'd like the public to be included. So that's where I'm saying, where is our line?
I don't know. And that's what I'm just saying right now. If we budget for what we are comfortable with, and then if the RFP comes back and it's more expensive, then y'all can take pieces out that would maybe take the cost down for the strategic plan portion.
For this action.
We
Are
don't
you
have to
asking
take
for,
it.
I know, well, it says discussion.
No, it says we can. We don't
Okay,
have.
are you asking like 100,000 to be put in the budget? I'm just trying to get a number.
The number in the budget I sent y'all today was in the sheet in contract. So, okay, so, well,
It should be.
the comp plan is zero. The comp plan is zero, strategic plan, what I sent y'all today said 100,000. Now, I'm ballparking that based on what I believe we will want to have in the RFP and what will need to take place. Now, that was going to be approved in the budget item on number. So I'm sorry, Carolyn, I misunderstood yours and Vicky's question. That's what's in there. Now, y'all don't have to approve that line, that amount now. Y'all can approve it when you get to budget. We can talk about it there, but that's what I'm ballparking for based on my conversations that I've had with everybody in some other cities that have had theirs.
And you've got nothing
Oh,
for the
sorry.
plan, and the reason for that is.
We will
exactly
not
what
be paying for the portion of comp plan. City will pay for that.
City will pay for 100% of comp plan. All we're gonna pay for is our strategic plan,
Yes.
and you're estimating. A realistic estimate of that is $100,000.
Yes.
And that was the confusion last month because there was a misunderstanding between the comp plan and what the strategic plan is. Our bylaws say strategic plan, not comp plan.
The line item in the budget said comp plan, and we didn't have strategic plan in the line item on the budget. So that's again, a budget discussion I was going to bring up to y'all, point out that's a new line item, but that's.
So this one, for this $100,000 is a fairly realistic number for. Getting through the RFP process, and then. It may go up, it may go down. I mean, is that, that's a good budget number? That's a realistic budget number based on.
Based on my
conversation.
comfort level, based on what I know we need to do and what y'all are gonna want to see happen, just from, I know from talking to a lot of y'all all really care about some details going forward and what's gonna happen with some of these, thoroughfares and the land use and where are we gonna get commercial and where are we gonna have commercial? It's not gonna be a $50,000 strategic plan.
So,
No, that's what I'm saying. So
Yes, so 100 is what I put in the budget, but that y'all can, when we get to that discussion in budget, if you feel like y'all want to change it, you can, but I was just basically, this part of the agenda item for me in my mind was telling y'all what to consider and look at.
So,
well, I
but you,
appreciate all the information. That was.
And I'm sorry I did not have it all typed out and on slides, but I literally finished calls today about getting some of that information for y'all.
so you're saying roughly 300 for the total. comp plan and strategic plan.
Yes, I mean, that was
Okay.
what we've been told by all kinds of, like I said, different consultants, so,
Okay, that makes sense.
but I'm
You're
comfortable.
talking a year process.
Yes.
So obviously this is gonna cover more than one
Exactly.
budget year. So if we put in 100,000 down and we see we have to honor, might as well move forward with that and move on.
Figured.
But I was gonna go over, I'll go over some of that other new line items with you on the next. Whenever y'all are ready.
Okay, I don't know that we're really ready to take an action on strategic plans, so like our PIA, we don't have.
Right.
An actual quote.
We'll take action with the budget, right?
Hmm?
We'll take action kind of by putting it in the budget, right?
Yeah, we
Well,
just need,
Budget's different,
yeah,
right?
Essentially.
So,
You'll make it easier for us.
I just have to have something y'all are comfortable putting in the budget to be presented
Right.
is,
Okay.
so that's, my goal tonight.
And then at what point are we looking for RFPs? We deciding whether we're doing this as a
We-
joint comp plan or strategic plan.
We've already had one meeting to discuss, looking at RFPs, and then we found the comp plan, so that kind of like derailed what we would think we would need, so we need to just get another meeting.
Just active right now, we're trying
Yeah.
to figure out what kind of money.
We've got to budget the money first. The budget has to be approved by council. Once we have approved budget, then we can execute a contract.
Answers my question, thank you very much.
The RFP can be done in May.
Yeah. She's been around this block a few times. This is my first rodeo on this one, sorry, y'all.
Then, the RFP we can do anytime. We can start now. We just can't officially bid until we have the money.
Yeah, she does. She looks like she's frozen or asleep.
Yeah, October first, before y'all decided that you wanted to make a motion on entering into a contract. with the
Yeah.
CDC.
Thank you, Leanne.
Thanks, no, that's smarter than I got up this morning, that's.
And I'm more tired than when I got up this morning. So again, this is actually my first rodeo when it comes to strategic plans and getting the bids and all of that in. I've helped with some RFP portions, but so we will be working on that, but prices are going up. It's kind of like land.
Fantastic. Appreciate the input.
You're welcome. Okay, so
all right, so discussion only item 9, moving on to consideration and action regarding the Aubrey Municipal District fiscal year budget for 2023-2024.
yes, and y'all have copies of that in front of you, and there's some on the table if you don't. What I sent y'all today only had that one section in the PDF, and I apologize. I've realized after I sent it, it did not send y'all the 3 pages. Alicia, did you need the 3 pages? Or can you, did I send that to you again after I fixed it? on the
I
budget?
don't believe so, but that's okay.
Okay, all right, so I didn't know if you needed it, so I'm gonna pull up the Excel file on the screen here so that I can add it up kind of as we go if y'all have a change. I'm gonna cover Alicia's pretty face there so I can show y'all what we're doing. Okay, so sheet 1 revenue, y'all saw that. We Mike English gave us some estimated numbers of what to put in. So I don't see that changing anything drastically. Last meeting, y'all did ask the question of what the interest rate was on some of that, and I believe Mike said it's around 5%. So it's a good interest rate.
I have a question on
yes.
the taxes, like, so, and this may not be pertaining, but on the people that buy Amazon, and who does the audit on those sales taxes? And like the snow cone place. and
Yeah.
Things around there. How does it
So,
work with making sure we're getting everything.
well, that's a great question. And I actually have something in the budget line items of a subscription program that I want, we can pay for.
Okay, great.
That will help us track that.
Yeah,
Um,
it needs, yeah.
Yes, so, but you can have programs that track it. You can also do, I think the comptroller's office, I don't know if they do audits, but
Key off of the delivery.
It does. It's up.
They pretty well,
Mhm.
because that's when our budget went way up.
Yes.
Amazon came on.
Right. well, they do. So it's up to the person making the order to choose the right zip code and district they're in for sales tax. So some of that is,
I
up
was
to the
just
user.
curious,
No,
yeah.
it's a
I
good
know
question
it's a
because
great-
it's a big part of what we get. So, yeah, but I do want to, point out that I have in the budget coming up in the next page, maybe next 30. So is everybody okay with the total revenue section here that I'll present?
So like, but sorry, go back, but like for Amazon, but like, what about the, like. I don't know, the cooking out of your house type deal, the people out of your house, cooking out of your house, how do you go about that?
Well,
You
Yeah.
can't narrow it down, you can't go down that deep into the reporting.
Okay.
So it's pretty general.
it's not public information.
We tried to get that multiple years ago, and it was, you could kind of get around some of it, but it wasn't a drop down where you go, oh, this is
Here
exactly.
it is, yeah.
It also
I-
depends
yeah,
on
that
if
makes
that
sense.
person has got a sales tax
Well, that's, yeah,
permit and is paying sales
that's how I
tax.
was wondering. if people-
Well, and it's in this county that collects the taxes in the state.
Right.
Yes.
So we really can't track it.
A lot of it is zip code related and address.
It's
related.
also gonna track it.
Oh, no, it is a good question, and I'll explain a little more about Zach tax when we get to that line item, see if y'all want to spend the money on it, but here we go on the salaries, all that's kind of fixed. Mike prepared all that for us and put all that in there. I put the travel training back to 15,000 just because y'all had it in there at one time, and we are talking about going to some shows in the fall and promoting Aubrey, so that I've kept it in there. It also would help cover y'all's expenses if we go to TML or TEDC or any of that. So and before this meeting ends, remind me, I'll look up that email on the date for TEDC. The office supplies, now this is where the baskets and the promotional materials would come in. If I need to add, we did 3,500 for office supplies, which is including, that's not including the cleaning contractor. That's just like physical stuff like staplers, whatever, paper and all that. The office or the promotional materials, we had 8,000 budgeted this year.
Can you freeze the panes for the
Oh, sorry,
titles?
yeah. Let's see. Where's the pane on there? Freeze panes.
You're right.
Yeah, close enough.
Oh, right there. Here we go. Freeze panes, top right.
No, you want to do top right, you do freeze panes.
Okay,
Gotta go down one more line.
here,
Um,
freeze top row.
no, he's top row, it's only column, it's only row number one. We need you to freeze row number. Well, we need to be able to see row number five.
Let's see what happens there. No, okay, okay, let's do this.
Click on A6 and then go to freeze panes. Now, just
the cell.
All right,
Then I'm gonna see two more.
There? A6.
Come on again.
Oh, here. There?
Yeah, just click in the one cell,
Oh,
right? Down one more.
that's
In
6.
personnel.
Oh, we want personnel. Okay.
That's freeze. Hit the first one. That's right.
Freeze it, then we freeze it.
Holy moly, okay. All right, so materials and supplies, excuse me, we have the 3,500 for office supplies, 5,000 for that would be the promotional materials where we would do the baskets and whatever y'all might want to do for the 12 at 12. I put it in here, but would we want that to go down in marketing? I don't know. So but it's a promotion, so I don't know where y'all want that, but I can include. If y'all think that 5,000 in promotional materials is enough to include the baskets and the 12 at 12 and other say items, I was thinking also items we might want to hand out with our logo and stuff on it at shows and marketing materials.
I don't think 12 at 12 should go under materials and supplies.
Okay,
And
you want to put that under marketing and advertising?
I think the baskets too.
Under,
I mean, baskets, I think I'm.
That's
okay
like,
with
see, these are actually.
promotional materials, but like Aubrey,
okay,
our MDD trainer.
Or there's all kinds of things that could be under as far.
travel training. training could be the 12 to 12.
That's gonna get all down.
No,
So truck
Okay.
days, us travel.
okay, so marketing could be, we could do it under marketing advertising. We can make a separate little line item, a sub line item.
So
Is there-
last year, that 40, a lot of that 4292 appears to be furniture.
This year, yes, as year to date, that is our furniture, but the chairs, the desks, stuff like that. So, excuse me, so in terms of I don't think the terms of that 3,500, I just didn't think we were gonna be buying that much this next year. I can make it 5,000 and make this one 6,500.
3,500 seems like a lot, because historically, we don't have that much.
Well, like
We have so much
paper,
with all the
Yeah.
furniture and all that stuff, so.
well, this is like office supplies, like paper, ink for the printers, stuff like that,
Which
ink
furniture?
toner. Well, I don't know yet, because I just ran out of paper today.
Well, and not only that, if you do what we call it 12 and 12, we come up with a name or whatever. We printed, I
Yeah.
actually done it at my office, but I printed all the tags for everything to go on the table,
Yes.
markers, and all the brochures.
Yeah, so that
Sometimes you're cheaper printing, having that
it
printed.
is, then buying your
Local printing company that we are using our ink and.
exactly. So that's what I have in there. Staples, paper clips, whatever we need to, supply an office. So I feel comfortable with 3,500, but, and if we don't spend it all, we don't spend it all. It's, if I'm gonna go way over on 3,500, it's probably because a computer or a printer has busted, then we'd have to buy a new printer, but that would be something we could deal with if it happens. So, but the promotional materials, I could put the baskets, we budgeted about 1,500 for baskets. That would leave us, if we kept this at 5, that leaves us 3,500 for buying any kind of logo, goodie items, whatever. So if y'all think we should go up to 6,500, we can.
But it's good to leave the 5,000, because we have to do promotion in that, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's great.
Okay.
So leave it at 5,000, what you said.
Yeah.
Okay, so repairs and maintenance, 20,000. We talked about this with the building. Just don't know what's gonna happen in an old building. So,
Kind of hope we don't have to pay. But
yeah, right. You hope you don't, but it also covers of that 20,000, there's about 4188 that would be for the 12 months of cleaning, the twice a month cleaning. So that would come out of that building maintenance. But to also keep in mind, building maintenance, if we have something on the property itself, like maybe, if we did do or needed something repaired on the shed removal or the museum or something like that, that would come out of that too. So it might be safer to keep it at 20.
Could we have the museum?
No, it would be probably a very protected area to clean. So because there's some artifacts and stuff in there, but
Yeah, I was just curious.
so $595 for the phone, cell phone. Okay, up here is the lineup. This is what y'all got in your email. Oh, sorry.
Drug screen background. Do we
Do what?
I know it's only $200, but do we need to budget that?
What are we talking about? I couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry, the next line down is drug screen / background.
Well, that just is there because it was there for this year. So if you don't need it, you got it left in there, I would say,
So if you have to hire anybody.
unless, I'm just saying, I would keep it in there because it was there before, whatever. Okay, so let me freeze this pane. Let's see what happens here when I do freeze pane. There we go. All right, there, okay. Learn something new every day. So drug screening background 200, gonna leave it in there just because it's a standard cost. Legal and professional, we had discussed 40,000 in that last meeting. It was at 30, but y'all wanted 40, so I put that in there. 0 comp plan, 0 on the map, or excuse me, the maps are 5,000 because. Right, but I saved some for printing under here. So I don't know what the printing is going to cost. So again, I like to budget and cushion and just be happy when we don't spend it. But 2,500 is going to be the cost of the program to have the maps and be able to do it online. But if I print them, printing is getting more and more expensive. So That's my recommendation on that. Strategic plan, I put in 100,000. Based on what I'm hearing, I think that's okay. Insurance TML, don't know if TML is going to go up, but I put $800. Do you know, Charles, if we should expect?
15% increase.
Okay, so this year we paid 730 as of right now, so I clearly think that was this. So what's 15% of 730? That's 140 bucks more. So do y'all want to? Do you want to change that to 850? Is that safer?
Or estimated this year, or the estimated column.
The estimated was what y'all budgeted this year, but we only spent 730. That's why I'm just curious. I can put it back to 850 since we have a 15%
I
increase.
bet that's what it was. I bet that's why we had it.
So you want me to switch it to 850? Okay.
15% increase, that'd be like 840.
Okay. Dues and membership. This is just so y'all know, kind of the rundown of what we talked about under this line. What I recommended was Texas Downtown, TEDC, TML, Nat Car would go under marketing, but we would have the ICE and ICMC, whatever would go, we could put under marketing too. But this would be memberships and dues for if we wanted to get some of these subscriptions for, that's going to go under a different line, but in terms of the memberships and dues, we're right around
Which line would you?
little under 3,000.
Which line would you put?
The ZAC tax and everything.
Mhm.
Well, you could put it under technology if you wanted, or we could put it under dues and subscriptions. Or dues and memberships. To me, dues and memberships are for organizations. Your technology and promotional subscriptions are different in my mind. But if y'all,
Yeah, I see dues and membership as, TEDC.
not technical
Unless you're
stuff.
buying a membership, I'm saying it's a membership benefit.
Right, I don't think there
The
is.
information.
So then with dues and membership, we need to up that. Are we gonna do the chamber?
Oh, yeah. Well, I can tell you, I'm trying to find my note on how much it was for TEDC. So TEDC was like $850.
Be a member or would that be a sponsorship with a chamber?
Oh, like under marketing.
Huh?
It's under marketing.
You're gonna put
We'd
it
be
in
putting it
marketing?
under marketing, whatever we do for chamber.
Okay.
Because it's a promotional expense and advertising expense.
Yeah.
So are you removing that,
If we sponsor a chamber, we would get a membership already as part of as being a sponsor.
budget and it just.
Yeah.
Well, chamber, that's well, wait, let me get to that line. Hold up. Let's stay on dues and memberships because I want to tell you what it is. So it is TML, it is TEDC, TDA, ICSC. And then the dues for the TML membership, I budgeted at like $850 because that's a premier membership or $425 standard. So I kind of
But that's a lot.
I added a little cushion in there in case some of these memberships go up, because we will have the,
Be a line. Keep going.
so the TEDC might go up, you never know, or TML might go up. So that's why
Fine on me.
Yeah.
We have to nitpick.
No.
Because we can adjust them.
Okay,
Let's move
yeah.
forward.
I always cushion. So technical and promotional, this is where it's getting expensive, but it's cool stuff. Placer AI is I did not put that in here yet because I want y'all to discuss it before I add it in here, but Placer AI is a very
Well, what's in there?
what's in this?
You've got 8,000. What's in there?
I cushioned it from what y'all had for technology and promotional, but honestly, we've only spent like 37, 32. And I cushioned it thinking if we add Placer AI and ZAC tax and all that, but because I moved NATCAR, but
We also have not been keeping our website up to date.
Yeah,
That's something that needs.
That's in there too.
And we
Mhm.
just haven't had anybody in here to do that. So
Well,
it's gonna
We
cost
have
more.
been making changes to the website for the past couple of months, because I've been sending notes to her to,
Mhm.
Yeah, and you know, and I know that cost, so we should.
yeah.
I mean,
So what does she charge? That's what I'm not clear on. What does she charges us $100 a month for hosting it.
that's the thing, and that's your backdoor stuff. That's
Yeah.
keeping your certificates
Sure.
alive and all
Right.
that stuff. So
But-
anytime you're gonna call her, she's very reasonable.
Yeah,
she is.
But
I'm gonna charge you like an hourly fee.
Well, that's what, but I haven't seen a charge come through for that, and that's what I'm curious.
Then, because I think the stuff that I'm sending her is so,
mine.
Yeah, she's not.
May kind of
Yeah,
ask,
she's just
make it
doing
a bill with several things.
Okay.
on it, and she does, we deal with her all the time.
Okay,
I
so,
just think you leave it. We may want to do some posting, some Facebook
Oh.
ads, we want to do something out, that could all come under that. So let's.
yeah, that's
let's
what,
Move on and leave it.
yeah, well, the Placer AI and stuff comes under this line, so I have to tell you all about that. Because that would increase it, but the 8,000 is what I budgeted, because y'all had 7,500 budgeted for this year, which meant y'all probably planned on some website enhancements, updates, whatever might cost her time and a little more. So Adobe subscription's only like 14 a month. So the Placer AI is $15,500. Now, I know that sounds like crazy a lot, but the Placer AI program is really what we need to know going. It tells us a lot of information about what is coming through, who's coming through Aubrey, who's passing through Aubrey, shops in Aubrey, who's leaving Aubrey to go shop somewhere else, what types of places are they going. This technology tracks, and it is the only technology that was not, it was already in compliance with Google and Apple's privacy plans when they had to change all their privacy stuff based on location, because you can opt out of it, because basically
How is it? Is it RFI? Or?
it's AI, it's just basically through your cell phone location services.
Okay, I'm not, because I'm just gonna ask something, it's not really stupid, but $15,000, why do we care who's coming through here? right?
Because
And
it
what's
will,
the-
they can drill down. It's a lot, it's crazy, but they can drill down and do migration reports for us in order for us to know, like, how many people moved into Aubrey in the last 2 months or in the last year. They can drill down that far into who's passing that store on 377 to go to another store on 380. From the perspective of, because it will help us recruit retail and restaurant that we know Aubrey people would support, and that other companies, like, so for instance, XYZ restaurant, we want them to come. They go, well, our research doesn't show that y'all have the housetops to support it. And I would say, oh no, we have the research to support it, because we know they're going to that one over there in that town, or they're going to that one over there in that city.
So it's not just that, it's called like your commercial real estate. This is something they covered at the KML conference last year in May that I went to. And this kind of stuff is like, you think about where we're at, this large recreation economy we have, Horse Country USA, Lake cities on both sides of us. They captured all of those folks. So instead of somebody wants to relocate from 380, they want to open a second franchise. And corporate goes, sorry, there's only 5,000 people in City Aubrey, and over half of them live over on the eastern side. It's just not going to work. So, okay, that's fine. But here along our 377 corridor, we have 200,000 people, or whatever the number is, that comes through. So you're not selling 6,000 population, you're selling what your daytime population is. You can see when those people are coming through, time of day, the total expanse. So you basically get to kind of borrow your surrounding areas, and you get a way to capture those folks that are coming up on weekends.
So that information would help us recruit restaurants and
Yes.
things that as we come into development. Okay. that's all.
It's a market research
Yeah,
program. Yeah.
If you were going with that, I'm like,
Yeah.
I can make this make sense.
It's a market research program that we can ask them to drill down, and they can actually do reports that we ask them to do if they can drill down further. So it's very helpful if in our case, making the case that we need that kind of restaurant in this town, and what would,
Okay.
or that kind of store.
Do we have that in the budget numbers here?
Not in this one, because I had not added it because I wanted to talk to you about it.
That's what.
I know it-
15,500.
Sorry, I thought. Yeah. it's not-
So 15,500 and Zach tax is 1,500 and Zach tax is answering the questions like Holly had, like, where is our tax money coming from? Because that is honestly where we need to be thinking about as an MDD and in our strategic plan, we need to be looking at where does our current tax come from? And once that land is gone for that use and it becomes housetops, you're losing that much in sales tax because that business is closed down now and they're no longer there. They're going to another place to do something. So there's a lot to Zach tax that can help us in thinking forward and in knowing our market now. And Zach tax can drill down with me. I can't do it publicly. I have to be careful with the reports, but and confidentiality, we have to find a sign, but it comes from the comptroller's reports. They are former city managers who created this program. They really know their data. I met with the lady on the phone. She did an example for me. It's a really helpful tool because, and the city can pay a portion, we pay a portion for the MDD. So it would get us out to our ETJ to know where is the sales tax in the ETJ and what kind of stuff are people buying. You know, I can't get to specifics, but I can come back and give y'all ideas and percentages of products and types of sales and types of services and what brings in sales tax. So useful information when we're trying to figure out where are we going forward. And it's 1,500 for that
A year.
a year. And they can do customized reports for us. You know, if we need them to drill down on something, they can kind of do one that's vague enough that it's not going to reveal the sales taxpayer or anything like that, or the amount they paid, because we can't share that either. So, but it helps us know our industries and where industries we are lacking, maybe, you know, like, do we really need this many more types of businesses? We have enough of those. We need.
That's additional 17,000 over the 8.
Yes, so thank you for keeping that up. So then, the other could come under contract services if we didn't do it under dues and subscriptions, because it would be by a project basis. But I talked to a company called Impact Solutions. They do, Impact Solutions does, if we had a project that we wanted to go out and give incentives to, for instance, and we said, we're willing to give incentives to this project for, you know, our company, whatever, for $100,000. How much when do we get our return? How many years do we get our return? And we can even tell them, okay, we want a 2-year return. So we can set the incentive based on those figures they can come back with. Let me see if I pulled it up here. This company, the Impact Solutions, he had sent me here we go, Impact Dashboard Solutions. So this is kind of an example of what the reports, what they are. They can measure economic impact, measure our return on investment, and tell us, you know, give us information before we go in and make a deal, and what would be the effects of it, what would be Aubrey's gain, and, you know, sales tax wise.
Now, is that paid per, is that like a
That is-
subscription, or is that something
No,
you just do one at a time?
One at a time, because we're small enough now that we don't need their service year round. So it's about $950 per request. So if we thought next year, within this next fiscal year, that we might have 3 business deals we'd want to offer incentives on beyond our grants, we could pay them to help us figure that out at $950. And he said that, like, the MDD of Fort Natchez uses them. Is it Fort Natchez? He said that they have got other smaller cities, MDDs, that have been using them and only use them for like one or 2 projects, but they can customize it for what we need. So it's really a helpful project and way. And I loved the way he explained it. On the one he showed me, his company name was Vandelay Industries, which I thought was pretty funny. If you're a Seinfeld fan, but in terms of this fact sheet, this is kind of, again, employment data, how, like, they would bring in this many jobs. They can give us all of this data based on, you know, incentives that we may want to offer. So knowing that we are growing and that we may want to go after some industries that are, you know, maybe not just retail or restaurant. We might want to bring in a light industrial or some others, you know, job related business that could bring jobs. This could be helpful. Because it can tell you how much property tax you're going to get back in from it, sales tax you'll get in from it. There, like, here's all the benefits it would tell you. And then here's your scale of like, okay, this project will pay you back in 4 years at a rate of return of 23.7% on your investment. So,
So is this something that because we don't have anything right now, depending on the deal, that we're putting in a miscellaneous, or are we putting?
we could put it under contract services. I would recommend it under contract services, that and having a line item for it so that if we needed it, or, I mean, you could
That's what you call, what you call impact?
impact solutions.
Solutions,
Are you sure?
Oh, wait, impact resource solutions.
resources?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Let me go back, look at that. I have talked to so many people, y'all. The impact dashboard, it's impact data source.
Yeah.
Golly,
Because I could not find it on the website.
it's been a long week. So that I met them at TEDC and they were recommended by other EDCs and MDDs too, that they help them with their projects. So this would be, you know, it could be a miscellaneous. If we end up like Carolyn, if we ended up needing to do one, we could put it under miscellaneous, or we could create a line item under contract services if y'all wanted to, under special services, you know, if you wanted to do that and put something there, it's totally up to y'all.
Well, it sounds like we've been professional. doesn't it? I mean,
It's analytical work. It's economic analysis. So it could be professional, but it could also be special services because you're asking them to customize.
You can put it in a general, so that you pull out whatever you needed, whether you needed the impact solutions or you needed something else. I think we'd be better off and go on instead of trying to line items.
Okay, so for now, I'm just gonna stick it under what would, like, 3 projects a year, $3,000 estimate? Okay.
That sounds good.
Did you change that other number on?
Oh, no, I wanted to ask y'all first on so what was it, Jesse? 17,000 more than what we have?
You're gonna have to change are you gonna need to do the membership? Or are you gonna change it to? Is it?
Oh, the chamber's the grant. That's the
No, you
grant,
can't do the grant.
right? I'm gonna take that
You
out.
need to move that.
So let me add this up first. Technology and promotional.
25, that'd be 25.
didn't I see a chamber line on your?
Yeah, that's different, right?
That's the grant. And that's why it's in yellow.
And that's why we're gonna change that to 0.
So 25,
It's actually not in that section.
You're right. It is in the grant section. So can you leave it there?
it was always in this section on y'all's budget before, so that I just took what we had before. So we can, when we take it off, it won't even really matter, I guess.
You just want to be legal, so if they come back and audit, we're not showing chamber by itself, and we're doing other memberships and sponsorships.
Yeah. Oh, when you're talking about, okay. For grant, this is where y'all had your grant coming out of now, like this past year. So I can take this to 0. Oops. But it's already in there, by the way. You've already spent it for this year unless they give money back. So I'll just leave it 0 here.
Right. So then we would need to add that to,
For next year, we need to add it to. Well, yeah, that was the question. That's why I was asking, do we put in a membership or do you put in a marketing?
Well, if
Sponsorship.
you are gonna do a sponsorship, you'll get a membership, and your sponsorship would be, in my book, more advertising, marketing.
It is, but if we're gonna go along with what they have for you as a business, your levels, diamonds, platinum, and
Mhm.
whatever you call it, diamonds.
I was a member.
That's a
Do you have that
membership
in front of you?
into the chamber.
I agree with you.
What was the amount that y'all want?
I mean, we denied the grant application, but if they have something and it's 10,000 or whatever, let's put 10,000 for them now, so make it 13.
Okay.
And we'll take action on executing that later.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
1,300 dues.
We're just budgeting.
And maybe they have an application for sponsorship.
I'm sure they do.
They do, I think so.
Maybe you can have them make one for us.
Oh, you know, they'll come asking. they'll come asking for sure. Okay, so marketing and advertising, just so y'all know, I increased that from, and we added that line item because I was taking, if we want, well, since we put data research up in technology and promotional, we can take some of this down. So, because I had figured we would use it as data research under marketing, but if we can keep it technology, then, this could go down, and I would suggest $12,000 to $15,000 for marketing. That would include going to NACCAR, include some, if we wanted to do some social media or website, if we want to do a video production for our website page, if we wanted to do some photos and stuff like that, we really could use some updated photos because they're just not, we've got some older images that we could probably update and really do some cool stuff. So
Yes, I mean, because the other one was at 17,000, right? And you were thinking that would be in part 30?
I put that 17, I
Yeah.
had it down here, but I put it back up in in technology and promotion.
So.
So marketing and
Is that 50?
advertising.
It should be like 13, right? 30 minus 17.
Yeah, yeah, we could do 13. Still like 13. So I'm gonna do this, okay.
All
All right.
Do the membership.
All right, so perfect. So, all right. And then 25 for miscellaneous, and then keep our people at 0. We can take that off there. Now that y'all want to take that line item out.
Oh,
You need to keep it on there.
Right,
until
it's,
the period
okay,
goes
that's what I
I'll
thought.
probably say how long we gotta have it on there. for
Okay.
previous budget.
Oh, right, for auditing, okay. Miscellaneous 25,000,
You missed these.
for the reasons that if something comes up and you don't know if you had an issue come up, say we didn't have enough in the building fund, or if we ran out of, maybe a repair funds,
Yeah, we're not.
You
a balanced
could-
budget like the city where we gotta set it.
right,
I
but
think it's changed.
we would have to go back and get approval to add to our budget. If we have it in here, then you don't have to go back and get a council approval for anything that's already in the budget and approved. But if we had to go back and add something to it, we'd have to go to council to get it approved before we
Yeah.
can spend any money.
Already got 20,000 in there for the building, probably not gonna need, right?
Y'all had 25 in there this year, and I kept it the same because we are gonna be taking out, we're gonna be,
It's about keeping the 25 in.
yeah,
Yeah,
you had mentioned it.
City, so.
So I think I would recommend it only because if we had a project run over, or if we have, I mean, we could take it down from 25, but I'm just saying you can
Why are you taking it down?
leave it at 25, okay? Yeah.
We'd have to approve putting it in miscellaneous anyway. So I would say just keep it.
Yeah, just keep it. Leave it
Okay,
there.
now, I will tell you, it's recommended to say contingency funds, but if y'all want to keep it miscellaneous, we can.
It keeps saying miscellaneous.
As far as. Yeah, miscellaneous is.
Mike said we should change it.
Mike says contingency.
I agree with contingency, that's pretty common name, yeah,
I'm fine.
for just contingency. is a
Sounds
better catch on.
Okay, so,
Sounds better.
so it's on miscellaneous now. I'll change this to contingency, this one line item name. Charles, or do I need to change that miscellaneous above for the main area? Just this
It's the
one?
main budget item.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll change,
I think you're still going to have to explain what the contingency is. to the council.
okay,
Well, the fact that they approved it for the last couple of years at $25,000.
Yeah, but they told us they're not doing any on this things. It has to be identified.
so,
Stays there.
Then take it to 5.
okay,
I mean, you can put it in as contingency, you just need to identify what the contingency is. Last year, we put $200,000 in the contingency fund for administration, and we earmarked that for if we hired new people. And we would come back to the council and seek their approval before we spent that money, and they would get to decide. And so it's actually their contingency that we could hire people with, because they told us last year, no one was like.
so can we say for like, projects, building,
Well, if it's an issue, I would just take it to zero. If they have to make an adjustment, we'll make an adjustment.
Go back to council.
Y'all.
Okay.
Just trying to ask questions.
So let me just
I'm
put it
letting
to,
you ask questions.
well, I'll just put it to 0, and then if we have to go back to council, we have to go back to council. How about that? Okay. Now, if they ask me tomorrow, do you want some contingency funds? I'll say yes. So,
Right?
well, yeah, we're gonna present this, but I'm just saying, if they ask me tomorrow in work session,
Unless we decide not to. take
Okay.
action.
so I'll leave it at.
Add contingency, go back.
Okay, so basically, if there's no project, if there's a project overrun on a cost, we have no cushion.
Well, why can't we put something in contingency fund?
Can we,
Let's talk about this.
I know, but I mean, they could be not, but.
I just have to have an explanation.
Chelsea, we gotta explain.
So can I say, if we did 5,000, I could say, in case there's a project overrun or a new issue comes up with the building, or.
That would be an arrangement, wouldn't
You
it?
can try, you can say.
If the council wants us to change,
Okay.
we can come back and revisit it. But we'll
Okay.
take, I mean, ideally, we'll take action on our budget tonight, and then we're
Right.
done,
So
unless they have some sort of issue.
leave it at,
You can explain that contingency could be, say your strategic plan goes over 5,000 and we need to pull it out.
And that's pretty good.
So,
There's a lot of it there.
yeah, so there's workshop tomorrow night, so the city council is not accepting our budget. I don't think tomorrow, because I think that's gonna be, they accept it at the July regular meeting, right?
the official vote, when will that
Official
be?
vote will be
August, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so tomorrow night's a budget workshop for city council, so I guess it's August. Well, we always try to do it in July in case they want to do it early. So if they have a problem or a question, they kick back, we'll take it up in August. and
Right.
Pass a new one, and then have them take and
Okay,
accept
sounds
it
good.
in August.
So what would you, what would,
I would leave the money in there. And
Okay.
if somebody says something, they need more money for.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll tell them if the,
Hey, Alicia, should I do a straw poll on this?
where did she go there?
You're not in executive session, so that's fine.
Okay. I mean, I'm saying 0, I think you said 0, you're saying 25. Charles has said that city council is not super happy with miscellaneous. Who else is at 0? Who else is at 25?
If they tell us no tomorrow, we'll come back in I'll come back in August.
So, hey, you said you don't care. You said one.
I really don't care, but if people pick one, I said, probably put 0.
All right, so 0,
0.
that's 4 zeros, so 0.
Okay. Let's see here, administrative fee, that was for Mike, and 50,000 is for the grant match. That's if we get match program applications, and
It's
economic
not a grant match, is it? It's a
Yeah,
grant.
it's tip funds. So there's-
tip or facade is what that is, so. We match up to a certain amount, so I guess we projected up to that amount, and then business survival program, I don't know.
We
That
can
must have
actually
been,
take that out because it's already,
okay,
Yeah, and double check mine, because
okay,
that would have been 2020.
but there's nothing on that whole line item, so. I feel like we should be able to.
If you're gonna take that out of economic incentive, why don't we add some more money back to the grant? That's not very much for a grant match.
Well, we've never adopted that fund yet.
Okay. so I'll take that out, and then. I'll ask Mike first.
Yeah,
Before I take it out.
and what, if Vicky's point, you know, Joe, it's not on there for 20 or 21. We did expend those funds in 2020.
We did.
You know what? That might have been 19 to 20, because we did it before the fiscal year started.
Yep.
Yeah, double check with Mike in case he's got, I don't know how many years back he's got to keep that.
So leave it. Right?
Asking.
Okay.
If it's
Fiscal
survival.
year calendar year.
I'm gonna ask Mike if this can go away. All right, and then can I ask him about the Keep Auburn Beautiful too, or is that because we spent money we can't?
Well, we've got
A line
Okay.
item, there's a line item on there, so we have to keep that. There's no line item for the business survival program all the way across. That's why we're wanting to ask if we. can-
Right, I understand that. I'm just making sure, because there's $21,230 in That's what I was just that's grant match, sorry. All right, all right, and then municipal projects, 0, economic incentives, do y'all want to do more than 150,000?
No, I don't think so, and so I can't get into specifics on some of the stuff, some of us will know it, and we can talk about it during economic incentives in executive, but. You know, this would be like what we call a section 380 grant, right? So this would not be targeted improvement funds, this would be, well, like, one specific example would be Chicken Express, right? So they got both targeted improvement funds and the section 380 grant. Which I think maybe they didn't, yeah, I guess they didn't cover it. So it would be a grant like that. So another example would be Blue Diamond that.
That's what I
that
said.
you guys heard us talk about.
$400,000.
You know, something like that happened. We had, you know, so that's what this money is. It's a fairly big number, right? But you just don't know if there's something that's gonna come up that might actually. But, you know, again, we didn't spend it last year. But we could end up having it this year with all the growth coming, somebody coming in, we have to go, hey, let's do, you know, whatever. So I think 150 is good for that.
Okay, so 150, and then the depreciation is 0 now, because we are hopefully appreciating in these buildings, and then we have, I did, and he said the shed was never on there, and it includes the parking lot.
And this building's, you know, we updated. Upstairs. Because they were gonna talk about-
He looked at this page with me, and he did not make any changes there, so I think he's confident. And he did those estimates for me on the fund balance, the ending starting fund balance. So that was as of, you know, today. So that's what we're looking at on budget. So any other changes that maybe I forgot about or that we didn't consider that we should have? Where'd my sheets go?
You hid your.
So really, the increases were in the marketing lines, the subscription and dues lines. We had a little bit of, really didn't increase much. We had some increase in promotions and office supplies, but otherwise the budget, and then of course with the strategic plan that increased that. Our biggest increases are in this page, section 3, sheet 3.
So go to the total sales and earlier, I want to make sure we're referencing the right sums.
M28.
Okay, and down to total expenses, please. Down 1 cell.
I checked that last night, but yeah, double check it because I had to add 1 in there. So I need to go back. I'm going to scroll back up because it's,
We need to see this on both.
yeah, so we have 16 here, which is, well, is 17 here. You have line 20 here. So there's says 21 expense. Does that say 21? Let me go back.
Yes.
Okay,
Just
21 is right there, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at 21 at 0.
On this tab, you have cell M10, cell M17, cell M21, and 29. So 29 is in the secret, 17 is miscellaneous. Correct, 21 is miscellaneous. 17 is where we're going. Marketing advertising. These are the thirds.
You want me to scroll up?
It's 10. And this is James. That, all right.
Contract services.
Other tab, you've got. And
Which one?
why do we have different columns on the other?
This was given to me in this format, so.
Just FYI. So click on the expense tab, please.
And 15 and 20.
Total expenses?
Click on the expense tab, please.
15, 21.
So there's 10. And that's why it's not set up because you've got some extra columns in there.
Okay. Yeah, 15. Good, 15 scroll down, please. Looks like 17 maybe.
I double checked them last night, but I appreciate you checking because I could have been wrong.
You guys did it for me, please?
The which one?
The exhibits to the formula.
Okay,
Should we your phone marker? You don't have 17 in there, but that's fine, because there's nothing there.
no, we do. 17's right there.
In,
Oh, in 17, okay. I'm gonna have my hearing checked after this meeting, y'all, because I'm clearly got some fluid or something there.
It's coming. 15. 21. 24. And 27. So what cells are those?
Ask that.
Can you go back to the expense tab, please?
If you want, I can email you the spreadsheet. You could check it, but if there's a total wrong in somewhere.
so in
Yeah.
27 is proposed 595. Your in 24 is 20,000 proposed. Your in 21 is 85.
Yeah.
8,500, and you're in 15.
Yeah. All right, so.
That's where the ends are coming
I
from.
know, so still referencing all right itself, so it's full. You've got the total to change.
I have cleared total trust in Vicky's help on the spreadsheet, so I really didn't mess with it much last night, but I did find a couple of cells I had to add too, but you checked them in there, right? So.
And we didn't add any lines, so it's not changing the formulas. Because everything's adding to the subtotals.
All right, so.
Thank
our
you, Vicky,
total
for your
expense in this
spreadsheet.
Budget is now 580,000. Against the revenue target, shall we say, 800, right?
We're doing good. Y'all are saving money. It's 270, almost 8,000. That you'll have that is, you're under revenue.
For a contingency.
Yeah, in
Any-
case we have
Any
to.
heartburn on any of these budgets? There's a lot of budget. Any heartburn or questions on the budget line items?
No.
Okay. So the budget as currently stated with estimated expenses, the budget is for $582,610.
It saves automatic, but I'll do it anyway. I'm gonna call it. Three, 7-11. Budget. I'm gonna call this, what do you,
Well,
I'm gonna say approved, proposed. Oh, gosh, sorry.
Oh, I was trying to get your face, sorry.
Yeah.
Open it and just.
The mural, you said you wanted to
It
do.
can come out of this
year.
year's. You'll have money.
Does that include?
Or we do.
The sucking station side? And is that gonna get? done
It,
before-
yeah, we have enough in this year's budget that we can take it out of miscellaneous. 'Cause it's in there. So,
Well, because we're over on the so.
we are, and I guess we can check that. Charles has the totals, but
82.
even still, Jesse, on the building stuff, we still have some in that office building maintenance and stuff, so. We're, overall, Mike keeps telling me we are under budget for the whole year, so. Overall,
We should, because it was
right,
six figures.
right, so
Stuff we weren't planning on.
that's not as big a concern in terms of,
But I mean, it's not a contingency, but economic development, like, that's the contingency. So, all right, so
so-
revenue of 800,000 and as proposed now, total expenditures of $582,610. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the budget as discussed.
Okay. Motion by Vicky, second by Tony. All in favor? The motion carries 7-0. Okay, and we have some executive session items to discuss. Before we do that, however, future agenda requests. I know we rolled a couple of items.
12 at 12,
Oh.
and then the maps program.
Did you have any comments since we got pictures back from the artists before we go into executive? Did y'all never, on the mural, there was, y'all asked to see pictures and I got some,
I
so
was slowly passing around to him.
What's her name?
Yeah.
Christine Sanders. And she's doing the sculpture at the tennis center, which isn't done yet, I don't think, but she's working on that in the Denton.
Can you pull it up on the
Dennis.
screen? So
It's on her phone.
That's why I put her.
Yeah. She had
Get
texted,
get that screen right there. Oh, is that an
Oh,
Android
you can put it,
or not?
we
that
can
an
share it. Yeah, Jack wasn't using technology.
remember, we've got, we're presenting to future public, right? Nobody's on the meeting right now, but
Mhm. Okay, well, then.
I'm just saying, in terms of, I can send y'all links to. There's Alicia, she's going to sleep. I can send links to y'all too, just to show y'all her artwork. She sent me like 13 texts while we were sitting here, so I just don't wanna,
Talk about that again next time.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and, can I go ahead and just, y'all are, if y'all want to find another artist, that's a whole other ball of wax. If you don't, then I can go ahead and potentially get on her schedule and we can confirm it and firm it up in
It
August.
sounds like having like a good, I don't think it looks like she's familiar with large scale objects. Her stuff looks much smaller and smaller proportion. I think you're
I'd
gonna
like
have to
to
find
get
it more into.
multiple, at least,
Kristen.
I'd like having at least 3.
I think the board has some concern
Okay.
about.
That is totally understandable. And if y'all are fine with not having a mural before Peanut Festival and we go out for bids, I'm totally cool with that. I just needed to give some direction, but
I'm not concerned of having the wrong mural by that peanut fest. No.
right.
yeah, okay.
The right mural at the right
Okay.
time,
let's do it.
by the right person.
I
don't like-
That's almost a lifetime. I'll be perfectly honest, that was not what I was hoping to see.
Okay.
When I asked for your.
Yeah, and this was probably just what's on her phone and I'm just gonna tell her,
I'm not trying to not.
no, that's fine. If y'all know artists that can do the larger murals, please send them.
It's hard
To me,
say
and I'll
out
get-
loud. Sometimes
yeah.
Somebody presents something, it's hard to sometimes say out loud, I don't like your stuff.
And Aubrey may have somebody I don't know of, but
We have Aubrey, but I know that there's people that do, that we have done with big buildings that come in and do big designs on buildings and stuff down in your, downtown. Those artists and stuff like that that come in and know. how to paint.
yeah, she's done some in downtown. There's just not any pictures, but I gotta get those pictures. So I'll get them from her. I'll check with some artists I know that have done some in downtown. Dan Black has done some.
If you don't get it done by the peanut fest.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
That is totally fine.
And we'd rather have somebody that we've seen their experience that's done some big. buildings
Just
that go.
If,
I want to see something and say, wow,
Okay.
that's awesome.
so keep in mind, y'all just approved a budget that did not have a mural cost in it.
Correct.
So we do have,
The contingency.
so that was my timeline for y'all.
Jack, we've got 20K to the building.
Yeah, that,
And we just fixed-
barring, yeah.
Probably gonna be.
I should not even say anything could potentially happen because I don't want to curse it, but I'm just saying that that was just my point, was getting y'all.
And I, let me, like, really.
Thanks,
You know,
what we're right then.
Like a pilot point, used to when you went down that side street, going on in the square. where everybody had all their- Some of those murals that the horses, even that came off, they look so real.
Sorry. Getting a little late. We've already had one member leave for the record. Johnny had to leave at 9:10. And go to executive session.
What are we doing?
Okay.
We've got a project that I'm sure Charles is going to
Yes.
talk to us about.
That's why we talked about doing it
So,
twice at the very beginning.
Future good items. So we've got mural, we've got map update. And
12.
12 to 12.
Also the website blogs using AI.
Okay.
Yes.
We don't have to carry every, if you want to.
Mural map update blogs.
What about the building demolition?
We're done. That's already approved. We just, we'll have an update on.
You can make it
Oh,
part,
we can have an
make it
update.
part of your staff.
Okay. Please, I can do that.
I said maybe the strategic plan, when you still got a table that.
We it is appropriate to have the strategic plan back. You got to bring it to us. I mean.
The
all
what,
we
the
did was
RFP?
budget. Yeah, all we did was budget.
Right, that's all we really needed to do for tonight. On the strategic plan costs and everything will come back to y'all once we do RFPs and get.
And so when,
What time do you think?
yeah,
that would take?
timeline I'm doing. So put like our-
Plan, yeah, for sure, before October 1st, but
All right, so we can connect.
I'm at the whim of Leanne's schedule and everybody else's, so they just tell me. when
Most
to
of the
show
cities
up.
that live in the schedule, right?
Well, they're the busier folks when it comes to.
So, all right, there's our future agenda requests. Executive session reports government, Texas Government Code Section 551.001. The Aubrey Development District will recess into executive session or closed meetings to discuss the following. Section 551.071 Constitution of Attorney, referencing purchase policy and Project 38. We already spoke about the chamber grant. Section 551.072 real property, referencing Project 38. And section 551.087 economic development negotiations, discussing Project 38. Do I have a motion to
I
move
make a
into
motion that we go close out of open session and that we move into executive session at 9:13 PM.
motion by Vicky, second by Mark? Sorry, I'll give you to this one.
No, we're good.
All in favor? Motion carries 6-0.
Pause.
I make a motion that we go back into open session at 9:33. And I make a motion that we adjourn and
Can you do it?
Yes, I'm second. For this.
You can second, vote. You do together. All right, and adjourn also at 9:33.
Good night, everyone.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Accidentally.
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, stopping recording. Thank you. Bye.
You can-